Two Bonacore guys actually are on top of the times at the moment, Swiderski and Blaine. Barrett goes second with a 2:08.6 to see what Swiderski can do for us here. He's a bit of a dark horse in the championship race here today. We've got no VR on NATO, unfortunately, but they've been training with Diego Lopez, who's just gone fastest, and he's shown plenty of speed throughout the practice sessions. 7 minutes ago, let's just bring you up to speed on what happened at the Spa race. Jesper Tolborg took the win after fighting with Keith Barrick for many, many laps. Barrick catastrophically losing it at Eau Rouge, with VR having a problem in the pit, so Tolborg prevailed from those. Swiderski came second. Completing the podium was Skurlock, and then we had four Portuguese drivers after that: Neto, Cardo, Vaz, Lopez, and Nelson came 8th. VR recovered back to 9th after losing around about a minute in the pits, didn't he, Toby? I don't know, with a very strange problem. And Reece Gardner rounded out the top 10. Who do you think is going to be the contenders here today, Toby?
You've got to say, looking at the timesheets, Lopez, I've been following practice session now for quite a while, and Lopez has definitely looked strong. Tauborg won't be as strong here this time. He's got a 30 kilo weight penalty. That's part of the system that they got in AGTC. The top finishers get weight penalties, and anyone with a weight penalty, if they finish below 5th, they start to lose that weight again. It's all about balancing. So I think we won't necessarily see Tauborg as competitive, but you can never rule out the Dane.
Absolutely not. I'm sure with his consistent driving, he should be in the top 5 at least, we would expect. Of course, with the unpredictable weather, that will really play into his hands, I think, because he's really a thinker throughout the race. But this is, as you say, this is the first Touring Pro Series league that's ever used any sort of weight penalties. So it'll be interesting to see how that figures out throughout the season. Of course, this is the first race using this sort of thing, so we'll see how it goes. Lopez is still on top of the timesheets, but going purple at the moment is Reggie Blaine, teammate of Swiderski. Any news on Reggie there, Danny?
Yeah, Reggie, unfortunately, he was one of the many drivers that got a DNF last round at Spa. No fault of his own. He was just caught up in one of the incidents around El Rouge. But Reggie's one of those drivers that can really challenge to do big things this season. He's got the motivation. We're seeing he has the pace. And like I said, you're not going to see much shenanigans from Reggie, like no on-track misbehavior. His dad watches these broadcasts, so if you're out there watching Mr. Blaine, how's it going? But I look forward to seeing a good round here from the Irishman.
Absolutely. When your dad watching, you don't want to do anything stupid because you do get in trouble afterwards.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just ask Keith.
Absolutely. Keith, despite his crash, he was classified in 21st and picked up 8 points overall, 5 points for his position, 3 bonus points for leading a lap and that sort of thing, fastest lap as well. But people like Hunt, Peterson and Isles were involved in the first lap skirmish that we saw off the line on the formation lap, so it was a bit messy there. As Reggie Blaine gets it into the pits just about, slows it right down, and pushing very hard through that bumpy final section called Sunset Bend, which is a beautiful name. It's not very sunsetty here today though. It's very murky and brown and damp. Although the track temperature is very high, Toby. How do you think it's going to affect things with the track temperature high, but with it being damp?
Well, I mean, if it dries out, we'll see very quick times with a high track temperature. We'll also see very high tyre wear, but that's only when the track completely dries out. With a high track temperature and high air temperature, it's a bit unusual actually to have wet weather and such a high temperature. It's a bit of a weird phenomenon, but yeah, it's just going to throw another variable into the mix, and you never know quite what's going to happen when you've got so many variables going on. And quite frankly, I'm excited about this one. It's one of those where you've got no idea who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, and to add to that, about the high temperatures, drivers have been commenting on the engine wear. It seems to be pretty heavy with the hot track temperatures. Keith Barrick actually told me that he had his radiator on 4, and for those that don't know race, that's pretty open there. And he was still incurring a lot of engine damage as he got later and later into his stints. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on here tonight.
Oh, looks like we've lost connection, I think, on the multi-BC side. That's not very helpful. Let's try and sort that out, unless other people have lost connection. Don't think they have.
Nope, they are still on the server here, Ryan.
Oh, so multi-PC have lost some kind of sync issue. Let's exit the game.
Yeah, just to give you a quick update on the times, Keith Barrick has gone the fastest, beating out Diogo Lopez by less than a tenth of a second. Darius Swiderski is still in third with Reggie Blaine fourth, and Reese Gardner has actually jumped up to fifth on the table after a very mediocre, actually a good round by Reese, finishing 10th at Spa-Francorchamps. He looks to recover and perhaps get a run inside the top 5 here.
Any news for add, Toby?
I think Danny's our main man. He's still in the server. I'm with you, Ryan.
Yeah, to continue here, we have Yuri Braham in 6th. Yuri, he was average at Spa, but seems to have the pace here. Was actually number 1 in practice for a little bit. Is a second off Keith's top time, though. You have Domingos Vaz, who, very interesting story about him. He's actually suffering from an illness, wasn't supposed to race here tonight, but instead of staying on his deathbed, as Keith Barrick so kindly put it, he came out here tonight and is doing pretty well here, up to 7th. And guys, it looks like I'm also having some connection problems. Just punt it from the server here.
Let's have a look at the server, shall we? I have access to that, so...
Sim racing is weird sometimes. You always get the odd problem with the technical side. Unfortunately, it's one of the situations that we've got to deal with. We'll try and get it fixed as soon as we can.
There are some problems because Keith is in the server now, just fixing that. So if you just get rid of these, thank you. And let's just quit from this game. Hopefully we'll get told when we can rejoin the session. They're all about to go to qualifying, but we can see the schedule there in front of us. They're going to Rattlesnake Point next, which is an incredibly fast and long track. You've raced there, Danny. How did you find that there in the ATCC?
Very quick track, Rattlesnake. A lot of very I want to say how to put it, high obtuse. There we go, angled corners. You have to be a little downforce on that circuit. Obviously, in ATCC, we also had inclement weather, so we really didn't have a good crack at the circuit. But yeah, you just need to have a car that's very low in the downforce, got a high top speed, and yeah, some very good racing there, Ryan.
Still waiting to rejoin. It's interesting how the race lengths are changing throughout the season. We've got 90-minute endurance at Sebring, and then 2 30-minute sprint races at Rattlesnake. So that should be quite interesting.
Okay, we just got word that the server did crash, so we're just waiting for that to reload now, and people did join back into it. That's unusual, actually. It's never happened before, actually, on this server, so very unfortunate. But the fourth round, as you say, is let's just say the third round, sorry, is a double sprint race, but the fourth round is at Watkins Glen. We've all raced there in recent times, but Danny has raced there most recently, I think. And
yeah, Ryan.
Ahead,
Watkins, it's a track most of the AGTC drivers know well. I expect to see once we go there some very quick times, and in particular, Reese Gardner seems to have the right of that track figured out. He actually took pole as a surprise in ATCC, and obviously within the top 5 here so far in practice. I really expect to see Reese step it up there. And obviously, of course, the big names, Tolberg, Barrick, Francisco, I'm sorry, that should be back there. And so they should all have solid rounds as well.
Absolutely. And of course, Reese Gardner has 2 pole positions in the Touring Pro Series in his career, both in the ATCC. And they both came at Watkins Glen on the NASCAR layout and the GP layout. So he obviously likes that place very much indeed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan. Not only does Reese like that track, but Ethan Bass, or Bass rather, as Toby likes to put it, he likes the circuit as well. Took a pole in server 2, granted, but pole's a pole, and expect to see him out there fighting hard for position.
On the subject of Rattlesnake Point, actually, I raced there just very recently in the HGP, and that was very fun. A very challenging race in the old cars, but very fun there as well. And I did win fastest lap and pole position there, Toby. And you do know this,
so,
but I do like to broadcast it.
Unusual. I remind you every time it's unusual.
Unusual. It's unusual for you to finish a race, right?
All I have to do is point to the DRM race the other day, Ryan, and
yes, Toby.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, you've been practicing for 3 weeks for that, though.
One day, Ryan.
Instead of doing your uni work.
Yeah. That's true.
I think I win. So let's get back to the subject. For the final race of the season, just as we wait for the server to reload, the final race of the season is at Nürburgring on the GP layout, and it will be a night race, which is a complete novelty for the race series, isn't it?
It's going to be weird. It's Nürburgring is one of those tracks where you need to see the apexes to hook a good lap time up. So it's going to be lit. I think the track's going to be lit up, so it's going to be reasonable visibility, but equally could be quite interesting. It's also another 90-minute endurance, just like Sebring. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one actually more than any other race. I think the sprint races at Rattlesnake Point. I'm
looking forward to those.
Yeah, I can see a lot of fireworks going on, but the strategy at Nürburgring, that's the one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and about Nürburgring, it's a track I've never been able to get right. Very technical circuit, especially that first sector. You have to hook up some turns or corners, and yeah, it's just something I'm not too good with there. Obviously the drivers, the level of drivers we have in AGTC, those boys are going to be able to handle it better than I could.
Oh, I absolutely detest that track. I can never go well there. But I know of plenty of people who really enjoy it, so just personal preference, really. Of the 3 tracks that we're going to next, actually, I really like Rattlesnake Point. But of the 3 tracks we go to next, I think Watkins Glen is definitely my favourite.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. I think Rattlesnake's a good track. It's got quite a nice flow to it. Nürburgring, it's such a technical track. I hate technical tracks with corners where you've got to link up corners. Watkins Glen has got another good flow to it. So I like those two. Sebring actually, Sebring's probably the most technical. Actually, it's got quite a lot of chicanes, and especially at the end of the straight, that triple chicane. The right, left, right at the end of the straight. Actually, one of the best overtaking opportunities there. I think that's one of the keys. We'll see that in the race. But yeah, that corner is one of the most technical in the track.
See, the thing with Sebring I always struggle with when I race there is that there's never any camber at all to help you. It's just so flat. Normally at tracks you get a little bit of a camber here and there, but there's nothing to help you there. And there's obviously those big bumps at Sunset Bend and at the first corner as well.
Yeah, I mean that's what you get for having an ex airfield as a track. You get that in ex airfields a lot. Yeah, Silverstone is a good example. Thruxton as well.
Thruxton has camber. So we start in Thruxton.
It is to be fair, it's a perimeter airfield track, but there's a lot of crosswind goes on at Thruxton, but that's a completely different story. But generally speaking, airfield tracks are very flat.
Just on the subject of Sebring, what do you find is the most challenging corner on this track?
Oh, definitely the first. Well, both the first and the last corner. You've got to just nail the apex. If you miss the apex on the last corner, you've thrown away half a second quite easily.
What about the hairpin though? That's a difficult corner. It's more like a chicane to be fair, but it's called hairpin, so we'll call it a hairpin.
It's technical, right? But it's not. You don't lose huge amounts of time if you can. And the other thing is the curves are quite flat there. You can sort of get away with running wide in the second part of that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry, Toby. I agree with your sentiment about the hairpin. Kind of an easy corner there. The first corner, in my opinion, is definitely the hardest because you have to throw the car in there, take it very tight into that wall, and that's the place you can really lose it. I mean, if you scrub that wall, your lap is done. So it's going to be a challenge for these guys to get through that first corner, that first sector, and then to put up a big lap time. And at the end there, I'm sorry, Ryan. At the end there, that final corner, you have multiple lines through there. You either go tight inside the apex at late, or you can go early. So it depends. That's a complete driver style thing. You're only going to gain maybe half a tenth, whichever way you do it. But it's going to be interesting to see which guys go with what line through there.
So you see with the first bend that you don't get at the final corner, despite the fact that they've got the same paving. At the first corner, and despite the fact it's not as long a corner, the first corner it narrows out towards that grass as well, which can lose you vital tenths of a second, especially when you come under attack. We've seen lots of passes down into the third and fourth corners as a result of turn one.
Yeah, and there's actually a bump, a nasty bump there in turn one that can really throw people on the edge. So you really don't want to go too wide through there or try any type of crazy overtake. Otherwise, that can go ugly very, very quickly.
Absolutely. So we're going to just try to connect to the server once again. It hopefully will be up. There was a problem with the weather file, apparently. So we'll go all bewitched on here and blame it on the weatherman.
I hope they've kept most of the weather characteristics that they had lined up, because that was lining up to be quite a good combination. I'll go and try and find some confirmation of that.
Yeah, and just a note for the viewers about the top 3 drivers from last round, Spa, which were Jasper Tolberg, Darius Swiderski, and Tyler Skurlock. They all incurred a weight penalty ranging from, I believe, 10 kilos all the way up to 30, which Jasper got. So if you notice, Jasper really wasn't too high on the leaderboard there in practice. That's probably why. I can't really put him as a favorite going in this round because of that. I'm leaning toward guys like Keith Barrick, who has incurred 0 penalty because obviously he had the big crash at Spa, moved toward the back of the field. And a dark horse that we talked about earlier is Diogo Lopez. He's looking very good in practice. He was out there all 2 weeks practicing hard with his teammates Francisco Villar and Miguel Nito. And those guys, as we know, are very quick. They seem to set up Diego's car very well. And he's definitely going to be contender tonight. So it's going to be nice to see what he can do.
Absolutely, and because of his result at Spa-Francorchamps, he won't have. And then I don't know the password. What's the password, Danny? Sorry.
It's the normal club password, Ryan.
Oh, I've tried it once. It didn't work that time. Oh, typical. Right. Anyway, let's get in the safety car, shall we? We've got Danny, of course, in the safety car once again. Also, let's get back into this game and get ourselves going into qualifying. Hopefully, once everyone's joined. Sorry for the delay, viewers. That's sim racing for you. Always seems to happen with our broadcast. Never happened at other times.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Keith. Can you give us an update on what's happening with the server and what weather's doing, more importantly?
The server's back up. We just had a slight glitch in the weather file. Our SRP gentleman, Yuri Bram, had a look at it without going through the weather file, but what happened was it was a timing thing. Practice had timed out at 27 minutes and so many seconds, which is why the server dropped at that point. So we are now going to be voting into qualifying in a couple minutes here, just as soon as everyone gets back in. And we'll be going through the 15-minute quali. If we do happen to have a problem, again, what we'll have to do just to keep with the weather theme is we will have to remove the weather file and go with just straight changeable. But I don't see that happening, so we should be good.
Thank you, Keith, for the update. Good luck in the race.
Thank you very much. Did just get rejoined with RRD there, and we'll be all set.
Yeah, we're all done. We're in there.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.
So it's nice to know that we've actually still got the weather files. So that's encouraging.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to change up the strategy if it goes to basic changeable weather because, I mean, the pit strategies, like I said earlier, well, actually, I didn't say earlier, going to this round, it's a 90-minute race, so we're looking at about 3 stops as the minimum because obviously we're only working with an 80-liter fuel cell here, so that's the reason for that. Anyhow, here's the thing, though. If you mistime your strategy, I stressed this earlier. I'm going to stress it again. If you mistime your strategy here tonight, if it rains, like after you take slick tires or if it dries up after you just took wet tires, you're going to have to come in 1 or 2 extra times, and that's going to absolutely kill you. The winner of this race might not be the fastest car. It might just be the crew with the best pit strategy.
How do you see this race playing out, Toby?
Yeah, well, in conditions like this, I wouldn't necessarily fill my car right up. If I wasn't challenging, I'd be gambling with with less fuel in my car, so that if the weather does change, I'm not punished by having to pit with half a tank of fuel left. That's how I'd play it. That's really all I can say. There's no predicting who's going to be on top by the end. As Danny was saying, the person who's going to win this race isn't going to be the person who sets the fastest lap. In my opinion, it's going to be the person who sorts their strategy out properly, which could throw up a surprising result or two.
Which is why I'm kind of leaning towards kind of Jesper kind of coming through, because he's one of the most intelligent racers out there, and he's always got a cool head on his shoulders, despite the fact he's only 17 years old.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment, Ryan. I mean, yeah, he could definitely overcome the weight disadvantage he has. A guy who I was really looking forward to seeing what he could do tonight was Andre Caicedo, but unfortunately he isn't with us tonight. The reason I mentioned him, he was one of the drivers that really timed his pit stops well at Spa, got all the way up to 5th position by the end of the race, and just very unfortunate that he's not with us, able to follow up on such a well-driven round.
Yeah, he stayed out a lot longer, didn't he? Despite the high tyre wear, he stayed out a couple of laps longer than the rest of his competitors and made it really work in the last stint.
Yeah, him and Darius Swiderski seem to have the right of it in terms of strategy. Darius went in a little earlier than the rest of the field and managed to finish second, while Caicedo stayed out a little longer and had fresher tires toward the end.
Of course, there were the problems for Keith and Francisco in that, but still, yes, Darius was right there, just a few seconds behind the leaders the entire time. And he really is a dark horse for this championship, because the thing is with the championship is only 5 races, as we've shown you. Well, it's 6 races, I guess, with the sprint event at Rattlesnake, but it's only 5 events, and there's no drop scores, so you really need to score points every round, because there's not really much time to recover, which is why people like VR and Barrick have, VR's pretty much out of the title race now as a result of his 9th place at Spa, and the fact that he's missing this race as well.
Yeah, unfortunately,
the same goes for NATO.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Unfortunately for Francisco, he has real-life racing commitments to drive the Caterhams, I believe. Hope I'm saying that right. But the thing about Darius Swiderski, this guy, when he's on form and committed to a series, he's a front runner. No question about that. We saw what he was able to do at Spa. Not only did he have the speed and the pit stop strategy all timed out, but just very consistent drive from him. And we saw a lot of guys slide off when those tires got worn out. Obviously, last round you had 2x tire wear. This round we have a 1x tire wear, back to normal conditions anyway. And so Darius, I fully expect him to have a real go at this championship. He's got an opportunity today because Tallberg has the weight disadvantage. And if Darius gets up front early, gets in that top near that podium, I think he might be able to even take control of this championship here.
What Danny means by 2x and 1x is that 1 times and 2 times tyre wear. We've got normal tyre wear here, and we're just going to go into qualification now. But remember who the winners were in the ATCC at Sebring last time we raced here. That was Swiderski and VR. So we will be looking for Swiderski to be pretty good. So who's your favourites for pole position here, guys?
Well, I really want to go Keith Berg. My heart is saying Keith Berg, but I'm actually going to go on the limb here. I'm going to say Diego Lopes is going to get the job done. He, like I said earlier, he has the Francisco and Miguel Nato. They helped him out with the tune. He's obviously showed the pace in practice, and I think gets the job done here tonight.
Toby?
You know what? I'm watching him now. We're watching him now on screen. I'm going to say Darius Swiderski because I'm going to be interesting. I think he's shown pretty good pace at Spa. He qualified up in the top 5. He finished it up in 2nd place in the end. So yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out and say Swiderski. I've basically got no idea though. Much like everyone else, it could be Graham, it could be Barrick, it could be Talborg, it could be Lopez, as Danny was saying. It could be anyone really out of that list. But I'm going to say Swiderski.
I'm going to go with Diego Lopez. He seems to have the 1 lap pace, but we'll see how it all pans out here. As we are in qualifying now, so people on their out laps. And what's the weather doing, Danny?
The weather, let me go check down in the pitch right now. It seems to be, it's actually dry, no rain. Definitely cloudy down here, but no rain in the forecast. It is completely dry. We'll see how long that keeps up. You'll notice that a lot of cars are on the track right now. In race, the rule of thumb is if it's dry and there's a chance of rain, you get your car out on the track, and that's what these drivers are doing here. Expect no one to be in the pits. I'm looking at it right now. We only have John Snyder Stricker and Reese Gardner. Other than that, everyone is a go. Everyone's out on the track here.
Absolutely. So we're going to watch Darius Swiderski on his first lap. So Snyder Stricker in the pits. Still, as you were saying, so everyone's out on the track, pretty much. Let's go on board with Darius now for a lap of this wonderful Sebring circuit. Do you want to talk us through this, Toby?
Yeah, okay. Turn 1, obviously you've got to get it nice and into the apex and then let it run as wide as you dare. You can use a tiny bit of grass on the curb, but it sort of cuts back in. You need to brake from about 100 metre board, shift, turn in, use the curb on the outside if you want. Again, more curb here through this sort of opening left-hander. You need to get a good exit onto the straight for the top speed. This is one of the longest straights. It's not as long as the back straight, but definite overtaking opportunity into the hairpin, as we were mentioning earlier. Right, left, right chicane. You've got to hook up all of the curbs. You've got to hit every single one. There we go. Right, left, and right again. And Swiderski hit every single one perfectly. He used quite a lot of curb in the left-hander.
And some grass as well.
And some grass as well. A little bit of a kink through here. It's still flat out all the way. Braking from about 200 metres. Right-hander, use some more curb.
We'll throw it in there.
Excellent, Swiderski. This is looking pretty good actually so far. Another right-hander coming up here. It's a 90-degree curved sort of braking zone. You can use more of the track on the outside. There's a little bit of tarmac, which Swiderski demonstrates. Well done. Flat out left-hander now, double apex. Use all the track on the outside and cut back in. These curbs, you've got to avoid these curbs. They're pretty high, especially this one.
Especially second set, yeah.
Yeah, especially the second set. There's one on the right-hander here. Got to avoid that at all costs. Run wide onto the curb, big, nice wide curb onto the long back straight. And this will all be about drafting in the race, where you can get a toe on the guy in front of you, maybe make a move under braking for the final corner. Final corner very much a similar sort of radius to the first corner. You've got to get the car nice early in on the apex, which Swiderski does brilliantly. Don't let it run too wide, too early, because there's a big wall there and you don't want to be lifting
He's got him. Keith has got him. Yep.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Swiderski.
5-6 from Barrick, 6-1 from Swiderski. So
that's slower than I thought, you know, Ryan. I thought they'd be down in the low 5s, maybe the high 4s on a completely dry track. So there must still be a little bit of moisture out there.
Yeah, it must be a little damp there. Keith really he took apart Darius this time in the final sector. It was what it looks like what happened there, because he only had about a 2/10 lead going into that final sector, and he seemed to really put down the pedal there.
It's in the I think it's in the final. It goes right, left, right onto the back straight. I think where Darius lost it. It was a bit tidy into there. Missed the apex also as well, down towards Sunset Bend. But Sunset Bend is an interesting part of the circuit, isn't it? Because we've seen lots of overtakes there, which you can overtake there if you're sensible, but we've seen plenty of crashes there as well, pretty huge crashes.
Yeah, I always think about the ALMS, the Ferrari versus the Porsche GT2 a few years back. They were battling away on the last lap of the whatever it is, 12-hour race.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, well, it's a 12-hour race. I couldn't remember if it was 8 or 12. Don't know why. But anyway, ignoring the fact that I know less than you about motorsport, Barrett's got
our technical analyst doesn't know. Anyway, we say Keith Barrick is 4/10 up on his time, so this is the low 5 that you said we'd be looking for. He's very, very out of shape into there, but he managed to get the apex pretty well, nice and smooth on the exit as well. Lots of people going personal bests. Reggie Blaine personal best, Hunt personal best, Nelson personal best. Let's see what Barrick has for the final part of his circuit. Of course, I wonder if anyone will pull Jamie Mello down here at this final corner. It will be interesting to see.
You've got to be completely alongside, I should think. Really,
I don't think Jamie Mello. But
yes,
completely on the side.
It was Well, it was last lap, and it was against was it Flying Lizards Porsche team? You know,
yeah.
Borgmeister,
yeah. Bergmeister, sorry, Borgmeister. And 205.231 from Barrick.
That's more like it.
That's more like it from Barrick, and lots of work for people to do. So Reggie Blaine's on a personal best. He's 0.4 up on his own time in the second sector. but he's plenty down on Barrick at the moment. If he matches Barrick in his final... Oh, very out of shape there, and compromises entry into the final corner, which of course compromises your exit, and not used all the curb either. So, but if he matches Barrick, he'll be on a 205.9, which will put him ahead of Swiderski, so he's looking strong at the moment. To perhaps move above Diogo Lopez at least.
Someone I didn't mention is Matt Hunt. He's also looked pretty quick here, and we'll be looking to improve on what happened at Spa. He was a little bit disappointed with what happened at Spa. Obviously, he was mixed up in that first lap start line incident. Reggie Blaine's coming through the final corner now. Probably going to be about a second off. I should think it might.
Fourth, Matt Hunt, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And Reggie Blaine to a 6-0. That is a superb final sector. Just a tenth slower than Barrick in the final sector. That's fantastic for him. So he's ahead of his Von Accord teammate Swiderski. Now he's knocked Lopez down to fourth, and Hunt goes from fourth to fifth.
Yeah,
in the blink of an eye.
I'm sorry, Ryan, but it seems that all the cars are losing about 6 to 7 tenths. Some cars even a full second on Barrick through the second sector. I'm not sure of how Keith has his car set up here, but that's where he's making his money right there. And just a small note, Eric Nelson is up to 7th. He finished 8th last round. We usually see Eric inside the top 10, and he once again seems to be on classic form here today.
As we see Reece Gardner just pip by a thousandth of a second Reggie Blaine to that provisional front row spot. So Gardner is showing his ability in qualifying once again. Jesper Torborg is on a decent lap also as well. Let's follow him around. He's the championship leader. He won the race at Spa after a race-long battle really with Barrick and a first stint battle with VR. It was very entertaining. Oh, he runs very wide onto the back straight, and it's going to harm his speed all the way down towards Sunset Bend. But let's see what he's got. Yuri Braham was also on a personal best. Just stick with Jesper before we head to Yuri. Yuri was fourth in the AGTC overall.
Quick thing about Jesper, he seems to be the only driver that can come near Keith's first sector time. And he's doing that, again, viewers, with 30 kilograms, kilos rather, weight penalty. So very impressive from him.
205.636, wow.
Wow.
That's fantastic lap time with 30 kilos, isn't it, Toby? Especially the mistake at the final sector as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know where he lost all that time as well? He was only 2 tenths down on Barrick. I was watching his lap very closely while you two were having a bit of a chin wag, and he lost all that time in the final sector. He was definitely on for a much quicker time than what he's done there, because Barrick obviously is. I don't think he's going to be beaten in that second sector. Looking at the sector splits, but Talborg definitely had him in the final sector, and a couple of little errors just cost him that.
So Jesper is looking strong. Barrick is at the top of the table at the moment. Oh, and Yuri makes a big mistake at the final corner. That's so what he can do.
As well.
He was very up on his time at least. Swiderski's on a personal best. Let's see what he can do. He has to improve by just over a tenth of a second to jump from 5th to 3rd. So very close lap times here. My pick for the pole position, I've gone back to the pits, Swiderski, so he's not happy with that lap. My pick for pole position is still in 7th place, Diogo, as Yuri does a 205. How did you do the 205 with that mistake? Wow.
Wow.
How on earth did he do that? That's
Yuri is very quick through the second sector. The second fastest car through second sector. He's only 2 tenths off Keith's second sector time, so he seems to have the right of it through there. He's very close to Keith in the first sector, and yeah, he's pretty much losing that 5 tenths there in that final sector. So maybe that mistake corrected him.
It looked like he lost at least a second, Toby, didn't it?
He's on a 10th up as well in the first sector on his own time.
Well, let's keep an eye on him.
Yuri's looking very strong. I mentioned him only brief. Is there any sign of rain, by the way, down in the pit lane, Danny?
Yeah, let me go. We are still full dry, but it forecast is for raining. But no, it hasn't started yet.
I think everyone will get away with it. It's only 4 minutes to go. Diogo Lopez is on a personal best, as is Yuri Braham. We'll follow Diogo first. He's first throughout the lap. We've got Domingos Vaz, who's got food poisoning and is feeling very under the weather, as we were detailing. And he's up to 8th. He's been practicing for 2 weeks for this race, the poor guy, and then gets struck down. So hopefully he keep. The worst thing is actually you can set one good lap time, can't you, Toby, when you're ill? It's just the concentration for a full race stint.
Oh, yes, there's no. Concentration is the big word. It's just very easy to lose your focus when your mind is taken up by when do I cough next, or in his case, when do I get another start. Oh, I don't want to think about it actually.
Let's stop that conversation right there. Not touching that with a barge pole.
It's going to be very interesting to see if he can last through the whole 90 minutes. Like, again, last round was 60 minutes. This is an extra 30 minutes, and the inclement weather is just going to make it very tough. And he's got to keep his concentration through it.
So Diogo was pushing very, very hard through there. Yuri is not as quick as he was last lap around. I don't think Diogo's going to improve by very much. Might be 205. 205.877. So he's up into fourth. So he's on the second row. That bumps Reese, who was on the front row just a few minutes ago, back down to fifth position. And sixth is Reggie Blaine still. Seventh is still Swiderski. Is Yuri Braham out on track? He's not, and he won't get another lap in. So this is really everyone's final run. Jesper Torborg's on an outlap. Rounding out the top 10 is Hunt and Nelson. Nelson's in the pits. He won't get another run. Hunt is going for another run. Dino Paolini is going for another run just as well. So he'll just about finish his lap as well. Sidona Manuel, he's on a personal best at the moment. Ethan Bass goes 13th, Sam Miller 14th, 15th Estes, 16th is Simon Gardner, 17th Peterson, 18th Carver, 19th Paul Wood of the Wood Brothers for Terra Australis Racing. Daniel Wood is not here today actually, I don't think. I'm not seeing him in the server.
Yeah, Daniel, he is out this round. After a very woeful first round, he is not going to join us here tonight due to some personal matters.
That's a shame, but Jared Keeney's 20th. Larson, Phelan and Seidenstrick and Egan round out the rest of the field. Lots of people going personal best. Let's get back to the front of the field. So we watch Sedona Manuel just finish his lap. Reggie Blaine's coming around to finish his lap also as well. He's not on a personal best. Anybody else out on track? Riscardo just started his lap. He's going to be close to him.
Swiderski's gone purple, by the way.
He has gone purple. Here he is.
Come on, Swiderski might hit for the pole as well.
I tipped Lopez, and that's not going to happen, I don't think. Where is Lopez?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Right?
Lopez back in the pits. So Ryan gets it wrong once again.
Nice to see whether he made a mistake through the chicane, because the sector 1 split is before that chicane at the hairpin.
Yeah,
and,
just on the edge, isn't it?
Yeah. So we didn't quite see whether he made it through the unscathed.
Reggie Blaine did improve. He's just improved by 0.082, but that's enough to bump him up one more position. So Reese Gardner goes from the outside of the first row to the outside of the third row in a matter of minutes.
Swiderski's 0.478 down. He's still good enough for third though at the moment. If he maintains this pace, gets a good run onto the straight now. He's missed the apex, I think.
He has.
All very wide as well.
Didn't run as wide as Torborg did. That's for sure. And his engine's smoking as well as he comes down the straight. He's obviously got that radiator setting as low as he dares. Look at it, smoking all the way down the straight. Into the final corner he comes. Sunset Bend. What a beautiful name that is. I love saying that corner's name. Around he comes, bit wide of the line, but gets it back on line pretty well. Carry lots of speed through there. Out to the final corner he comes, going to cross the line now. What can Swiderski do? He needs a good time here. Keep his championship challenge, keeping it that going. 205.7.
Third.
Yes,
inside.
Very good by Darius.
Inside of the second row.
Yeah, I thought
fastest final sector, surely.
Yeah, very good.
Oh yeah, I thought he lost. He was 4/10 down on Keith alone in the second sector, so he really turned it on in the final sector there to pull his time together and just clip above Yuri Braham, who is about half a tenth down on Darius's time.
Yeah, so Reese Gardner's down to the fourth row after being on the front row.
And there we go. That's our qualifying done. Ooh.
That was pretty exciting, guys. So congratulations to Keith Barrick. He sets one early, fast lap time, and he really made it count, didn't he? Does that make him favourite for the race?
No, not at all. No way. You can't say it. You can't say whether someone's going to be favourite for the race when the weather conditions are as they are. The thing with Keith though is that he will be happy to get that out of the way. He's much better from the front row than he is from row 4, say. Jesper on the front row next to him is a big thing for me though. I like the fact that those two are up at the front again.
Yeah, you'd like to see these guys battling.
Keith definitely doesn't want to see Tolberg behind him. That is not who we want to see there. Obviously, Tolberg outdueled him at Spa, and Keith, he's got to get over perhaps a mental block with Jesper and get the job done here tonight.
Absolutely, because it's Jesper who really asserted his authority in the AGTC. And with his spate of wins and podium positions, really aced the final half of that season. And of course, he's won here today as well. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, sorry. The race has not happened yet, Ryan. Come on.
Let's have a look at the back end of the grid, Ryan.
Well, below the top 8 that we were focusing on was Mathens, who took 9th and Eric Nelson 10th, so they didn't improve from their positions. We've got Paulini, Manuel Mailer, and Bass rounding out the next 4 positions. Now Eric Estes and Simon Gardner are also in the top 16. 17th and 18th is Glenn Peterson and Michael Carver, both driving for Long Shots West. The best driver of Long Shot is actually Eric Estes. Sam Mailer actually, just ahead of his teammates. Terra Stratus Racing's Paul Wood is 19th. Neil Larson for Team Kamikaze is 20th, beating his teammate Jim Egan. 21st Jared Keane, 22nd is Phelan, and 24th is John Seidenstripper for Long Shot West, rounding out the grid.
I'm still quite interested about the top 4. I think Lopez didn't put a lap together either, so it could be a top 5 early on. Reggie Blaine might not quite have the pace to keep up with them. Reece Gardner is a little bit inconsistent. He's a quick guy, but a little bit inconsistent. We've got Vast there as well. Matt Hunt. I think you're going to see the top 5 move away early on, followed by 6 to 10.
But look at the weather, guys. It's raining.
It is indeed raining.
Quite hard as well.
I know, we are only in warm-up. Anything can happen before the race, but...
Well, it's usually the same kind of weather in warm-up, if the weather file is sensible, that is. Never know with these sort of things. But I know some bit of Reece Gardner. He's a very quick guy, but he tends to either make or find trouble on track in the races. And
Reece last round, I had almost the big incident with Francisco at El Rouge. I thought he came in for a stop and go, or not stop and go, rather, a drive-through penalty because of that. Turns out he ran out of fuel at the end of the Spa race and had to go in for a splash and go. So we'll see. He's definitely one of the drivers that's going to finish with way more fuel than he really needs here tonight, just to be sure.
It's always better to carry an extra couple of litres of fuel. I always find that. I've never run out of fuel in a race in my life, and I never intend to. It's one of the stupidest ways you can throw away good results and hard work.
No, you couldn't be more right. You couldn't be more right. Go on.
No, just to say, just look at the rooster tails here from the cars. It's fairly lengthy. It's not too bad at the moment, but it might get heavier and heavier, of course. What is the forecast, Danny?
Forecast, it's still on for raining, but again, that can switch and change. I would expect guys, if it stays with these wet conditions, and obviously you have guys starting with the slick tires. The only question is how long is it going to stay wet? The tires last about 10 laps. 9 laps is probably the lap we'll see guys come in on, but 10 laps is the max I'm hearing, with fuel lasting roughly about 20 minutes. So they have that window to work with.
At the moment, I'm thinking wets for the race. Start with.
I'm looking at this now, and you can see who's on slicks, and you can see who's on wets. They're all over the place, some of them. See what I mean?
Oh dear.
That
was pretty well handled.
Not bad, but that was on the exit of the corner under power. That's where you can really tell what tyres people are on and how much grip they've got, because that is literally where the tyre is doing its most work.
Maybe I'm a softie, maybe I'm a pussy, but I'd go with wets right now. What would you do?
Oh no, I'd stick wets on as well. It's just there's no point in throwing away 20 seconds spinning if you're going to be second a lap off the pace.
Especially if the forecast is for more rain, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, because you could be lucky. You could get a massive downpour. If you're unlucky, it's going to dry out, but you're not going to spin with wet tyres on a dry track. Well, you shouldn't do. You're more likely to the other way around.
The only thing you might see is guys toward the back of the field might put maybe slicks on the front, slicks on the rears, depending on what they like, and take a gamble that way. But by no means do I expect to see anybody remotely toward the front try to put slicks on these conditions here.
Well, it's very much follow the leader in that sort of thing, isn't it? And the leader generally plays it pretty safe. If you're, as you say, if you're towards the back of the grid, you should see the lap times have dropped off quite considerably. If you're towards the back of the grid, of course, you've got much less to lose, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean...
Oh, just yes, braving it out of shape, out of the corner. That shows how difficult the conditions are at the moment. Just put an inch of a wheel on the grass and just spat him straight across the track. He couldn't save that. That just illustrates how difficult the conditions are here. And I think our tactic, Toby, putting the tyres on would be definitely the right tactic.
Yeah, that is what I do. It is really quite wet out there. In warm up you can put slicks on, see what it would be like. There's probably what one or two of them are doing. I should think Barrick's probably on wets, looking at the way he was driving through those corners compared to some of the other guys earlier on. One of the things about the lap time is that it could affect how many laps are actually done and how much fuel guys actually end up with.
Absolutely.
So you might
use
see
less fuel in that as well, because you're
exactly.
Because you're on the throttle longer, less even. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So you might see guys doing one less pit stop than they thought originally. So that could be another factor coming in. We'll ask Danny about that during the race. How many pits have people done? Danny, just keep us updated.
Yeah,
please keep it Danny. Yeah. one. Oh, Reese Garner disconnected. Oh no! Oh no! That's a big shame.
Very
hopefully he can get back in.
I hope so. It's got.
There is a procedure allowed for that sort of thing. He's still on TeamSpeak, so there is a procedure that allows for this sort of thing.
Maybe he's just changing his display settings with an old spec system.
You can't rejoin a warm up though, Tobin. Remember, it's not our factor.
Oh no, of course.
Yeah. So we may see a quick restart of the server here and then just cycle through quickly.
I need to sleep at some point tonight.
Yeah, that's true. I've got 90 minutes to go until I can actually think about sleeping. My poor girlfriend is in the same room as me because she couldn't be bothered going home, so she's sleeping in the same room as me, or trying to at least. I think she might regret that decision.
Depends how exciting the race gets. It could be very interesting. If
I start shouting at Barrett crashing at a Rouge again, that's what woke her up last time.
Update on Reese here. It looks like he suffered from a power outage in his area, so he is out for this round.
Oh, well, how come he's still in TeamSpeak? He must just still be a ghost kind of thing.
He could easily be on TeamSpeak on his laptop, Ryan, with a battery. That's exactly how I run my games. I have.
We don't all have two computers.
No, I know, but I think Reese does.
Rich.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, Toby gets everything bought for him from his dad. Toby's so rich that he had a bank account with £1,000 in it that he'd forgot about. Now, if you have to be rich, dude, if you can forget about £1,000.
That's pretty rich right there.
I never forget about a tenner to mind £1,000.
But look, I'm drinking cider that cost me £1.20 and it's 2 litres.
Yeah,
leave me alone.
You're a cheapskate as well. See, you're tight and rich.
Anyway, there's some racing to be done.
There's no racing. We'll talk about Toby's lifestyle.
45 seconds
here before we go to the grid.
Absolutely, and you looking forward to being in a safety car?
Yeah, hopefully we won't have any near offs like I did at Spa last week.
Yeah, dodgy weather conditions this time. Dodgy weather conditions. You got to be careful. You don't look
very tough conditions.
Oh, put your wet tires on as well. Don't put your slicks on.
Good point, Ryan. Good point. Okay, that's what they pay you the big bucks, right? Yeah, I'm actually going to jump down into the pits to go in the safety car now, guys.
No problem, Danny.
No problem. One thing I find quite interesting, nobody's setting lap times. Only Matt Hunt's done a lap. Everyone else has been diving into the pits in and out, trying different setups, different tyres.
Or crashing.
Trying to work out, just trying to work out what works in these conditions. It's impossible to know unless you've done practice while it's been changing.
Toby, we can hear the girls in the background.
I know, unfortunately, the university decided it'd be a great idea to have a ball, and they're all still walking back from that, so apologies for that.
I was supposed to go to a ball on Thursday, but guess what I did instead? I played sim racing. I couldn't be bothered going to it.
Yeah, you know, I haven't slept for 2 days. I've been trying to do my university deadline.
You lie. You told me you woke up today. So obviously you slept at some point.
I slept for half an hour accidentally.
No, you told me you woke up and then fell asleep again. So you slept twice.
Well, yeah, well, I slept twice because we stopped playing Football Manager at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? That's why I had to go to sleep.
Nobody knows about that. Shh.
Right, Mace, come on.
Right, everyone in America's like, Football Manager?
it's soccer.
What do you mean soccer?
Game. Soccer.
Soccer
Keith
manager?
Keith Barrick on pole, Jesper Tauborg in second, Swiderski's in third, my tip for pole is in third, it's better than your tip for pole.
He's fifth, it's not that bad.
Yuri Graham in fourth, Lopez in fifth, as he mentioned, Reggie Blaine in sixth. It'd be nice to talk to him again after the race, I would quite like him in interviews. Domingos Vaz in seventh, Matt Hunt in eighth, and that's the top eight. Eric Nelson ninth. Dino Paolini, who I always think sounds like a world champion motorcycle racer. I think that's the sort of name.
He sounds nothing like Valentino Rossi.
I'm thinking of Giacomo Agostini.
D'Agostino.
No.
That's his name, D'Agostino.
No, I'm not on about him. I'm on about Giacomo. Look him up, all right? He was the
Giacomo
most successful...
D'Agostino. Is it D'Agostino, not D'Agostini?
I thought it was D'Agostini.
Never mind.
Okay,
Also in America, I think they call football managers soccer coaches.
Soccer coaches, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Soccer coach 2011. There's some education some culture for the AGTC viewers.
Don't buy that game. It ruins
It'll take over your life. We are waiting for this formation lap, and it's taking a long time.
It's taking a long time, yeah. Everyone. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, we're waiting for Danny. That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah.
Get moving, Danny. Is he still in the channel?
At least he's not having to. Oh, never mind. At least he's not having to creep 1 inch from every car like he was at Spa.
Nice and wide here at least. Let's go on board with Danny. Let's. Oh, there's Danny. There we go. There we are. Let's look back at this group if we can. There we are. Looking back at field, coming around their formation lap.
You get a nice sound of the Lassetti engine as well doing this.
A delicious sound, isn't it? Not.
Beautiful.
But the Z4s are a very nice sound indeed.
Absolutely.
Very rasping. Plenty of turbo as well.
Yeah.
Of course, thanks to the SRP team for doing this mod for us, exclusive to the Touring Pro Series once again. There's several exclusive mods in the Touring Pro Series. We try to specialise and make it as good as we can for the viewers and for the drivers as well.
So it's nice that there's always new features being added. The weight, for example, this time. Changeable weather conditions. In fact, it looks bright out there, to be honest.
It's very bright, isn't it? There's no spray at all, is there? I can see. Do you see the spray?
No. I wonder if there's
So, viewers, in case you wonder why we can't see things that seem quite obvious perhaps to you, we do have a more of a low resolution kind of view for the commentators, because then it's smooth and we get to see everything in real time rather than delayed like you guys do. So apologies if we sound stupid at some points.
Yeah, when we say lower resolution, what we mean is it's at times difficult to read what lap we're on. That's just how bad it is. The timing overlay display that you see at the bottom of the screen, that tends to be correct. So we're normally talking about the right driver, but not necessarily about who's overtaking him. So we'll try our best.
Well, you do get used to it, but the finer details such as rain spray and that sort of thing can be quite difficult to see. But it's a very blue sky, isn't it?
It really does look bright as well. You can see
magically cleared up.
I did mention this in warm-up. Sometimes it's random. I know nothing about race.
Blame it on the weatherman.
Yeah, blame it on Danny.
It's not Danny's fault. He's not the weatherman. Oh, someone's left the game. Who is that? Is that Eric Estes? I couldn't quite see. Oh, not Eric. It can't be Eric Estes. It's John Seidenstricker. He's left the game.
Is it? Oh,
what a shame. He was on the back of the grid anyway, but still, that's a shame to lose a driver. So we're down to 22, right? 22 drivers.
22, yeah.
Oh, what a shame. 21 drivers, because Danny is one of the drivers.
Indeed.
So 21 drivers here today. That's still a healthy field, to be fair. Especially when they're driving 600 brake horsepower BMW Z4 turbos. And who else left the game? Oh.
Same. Who was the first one then? That was Seidenstricker.
That must have been somebody talking. Perhaps it was Danny. Sorry, viewers, if it seems completely obvious to you, but we couldn't see what the text said. It's blurred out.
We're just guessing.
All the viewers are going like, it said this, you retards.
We try our best.
Stupid British people.
Right, Danny's going to move away now from the field, pull into the pit lane and let Keith and Jesper control the field.
As we watch the field stream past, that does look beautiful actually.
It really does, yeah.
It's very nice indeed.
Heading towards Sunset Corner, you like it?
Sunset Bend. Sunset Bend.
Oh, Sunset Bend, sorry.
Danny pulls into the
who do you
pit.
think's going to get a jump?
I think Danny Asprey's got the jump.
As they cross the line.
Get serious now, guys. We're now coming to the line. Keith Barrack is forming the queue up. He's on to the outside, actually, into the first corner. That could come back to bite him. But, of course, it is a wide radius first corner. Let's go on board with Jesper Torborg before this starts. On the outside of us is Keith Barrack. He gets this race underway. And he's getting a good start there. Very good start. He's very clear into the first corner. Be able to go straight through. And Swiderski's challenging on the outside of Jesper Torborg, going around the first corner. On the inside still is Jesper, and Swiderski's just run slightly wide there, I think, down towards the final corner. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Crash.
Oh no.
Crap.
What a shame, viewers. Sorry about this. So let's just exit the game, obviously, because it has definitely crashed.
Right. What this means is...
let's talk about the action.
Seriously, no. Let's just clear this up so that people don't leave.
Absolutely.
What this means is that it's going to be a very quick fix. It's going to take a few minutes. They're going to swap the planned weather file, which obviously still has some bugs in it, and replace it with a changeable weather default setting, and we should be underway in a few minutes.
So we'll try and get underway and get this race done for you guys. The problem will be, of course, sorting out the grid for the race.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out from the league organizer whether we're going to go back to qualifying or go straight to the race.
Well, they can sort out. The problem with their race is that you can't actually do any admin controls and sort out the grid manually. So people have to kind of drive backwards in the pits and disqualify themselves in the right order, which is a very, very cumbersome way of doing it, but unfortunately that might be what we're going to see in a few minutes' time. So sorry to the viewers for a second. Let's go and make a cup of tea or something. It's going to be 5 o'clock before we get out of here, Toby. 5 in the morning.
Don't. I'm running out of cider.
I've been out since 3:30 this afternoon and got back at 11:30.
You might want to just tell the viewers where you were, Ryan.
I don't know if American people... Oh, what's going on here? I don't know if American people know who Take That is. Do you know who Take That is, Danny?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Let me explain. Danny, what's the worst boy... Do you have like boy bands?
That's not the worst boy band, Tobe. Come on, Tobes. It's not the worst boy band.
Do you have young sort of teenage lads singing in front of screaming girls in America?
Yeah, Justin Bieber.
Right, imagine 5 Justin Biebers in a band that have now aged and are trying to still release music. That's what Ryan went to see.
They've got Robert Williams in it, dude. You know who Robert Williams is, right, Danny?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that though. He's in the group.
Yeah.
That automatically makes it cool. And there was swearing
that's
involved.
obviously makes it amazing.
It's actually really, really, really good. The performance was absolutely fantastic. They had like a 30-foot statue, not like 30-foot robot, sorry, that like stood up as well at the end. It was absolutely awesome. Like moving its arms and stuff. It was actually pretty impressive. And there was like fireballs shooting out of the floor, and even though the fireballs are 30 yards away, you could actually feel the heat coming from them, which is pretty damn cool.
Wow, it's like being at bonfire night.
Bonfire night, yay! No Guy Fawkes involved though.
That's something else that no American viewer will understand what we're on about.
No.
I think we lost all our American viewership just over 2 minutes. Yeah.
Just lost everybody.
Right, let's talk about chips.
Chips?
Yes.
This is fries to everybody else. We still have fries here, anyway. We go to McDonald's. You would like a large fry for that?
Yeah. Would you like some extra grease with your tomato ketchup?
Okay,
Well,
the,
to get back to the race here.
yeah, I was just about to say that actually.
Yeah, it seems that we're going to go quali in a qualifying of 10 minutes. Race length has been shortened from 90 minutes to 75 minutes, and now we're about to get going here in just a few moments, momentarily here.
So sorry for the viewers for this, but this is how it's going to pan out. We're still going to have the same length kind of thing, the same length kind of event at the moment, because it's 10 minutes and then 75 minutes of racing. That means people will have to sort out their strategies once again. So they're going to have to rejig that. So people have to think on their feet, aren't they?
Yeah, right.
And how much stress does this give to a driver?
It gives them a lot of stress here because what we were looking at before is 3 stops were the minimum. Now 2 stops are in play again because it takes, of course, that pivotal 15 minutes plus the pace lap off the clock. So you'll definitely see guys probably try to stretch those tires to last maybe 2 stops here over 75 minutes. The thing is, though, fuel, I'm hearing it only lasts 20 minutes, so it's still going to be kind of dicey. It's going to be fun to watch.
Any thoughts on that, Toby?
Yeah, I mean, strategy is always going to be important. Now we're moved to a default changeable weather conditions. So there's actually no one who knows what the weather's going to be like. We have no idea. The game's just going to randomly generate us some weather for 75 minutes, and that's what we'll be stuck with.
Quite a minute, Toby. Keith, sorry.
Okay, so we found the problem. It was a conflict with a mod that was installed on the server. It was basically randomly creating problems. It was actually never anything to do with the weather file. It was a mod that we didn't know was on there. I guess it was just put on at some point for a practice session. It's been removed. We've shortened the race to 80 minutes. To just accommodate the Euro guys. Obviously, it's late for the Euro guys. We're going to do a 10-minute open quali and go directly to the race. And we're going to try and get the formation lap done as quickly as possible.
Okay, so we're going to 80 minutes, not 75.
We've gone to 80 minutes. Yeah, I just figured because we're trying to keep it with an endurance type, and 75, I don't know, it's only 5 minutes, but the problem has been solved, and we should have looked at that first, but obviously I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
Keith, I have a question for you, Keith. Does that mean the weather file stays intact?
It does, 100. Because that was
right.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be the same as before, and we're going to let the guys who did miss out. So if Reese, if you're watching, rejoin. You're welcome to. Sam, any of the guys who disconnected, you're more than welcome to join. But
did Sam disconnect as well?
We had John had a wheel issue, Sam had a graphics lockup, and Reese just I think desynced. It might be because he's having power issues, but. If you're listening, you guys are welcome to join back. So we'll be as quick as we can. Obviously, I know it's getting late, but the race will go on right now. We've sorted the problem.
It's now early, Keith. It's now early.
I know it's now early, but we're all set. So we're headed back into the server now.
All right. Good luck, Keith.
Thanks.
Yeah, and just point out a note of his. He said we're going 80 minutes instead of 75, so that means 3 stops is once again in the picture. I really don't see 10 minutes making too much of a difference in terms of race strategy. I mean, again, there could be some guys who have it all figured out, know how to get a few extra laps out of each stop. That's going to come into play, but hey, we won't know until the 80 minutes is up, so stay tuned.
So hopefully we can get underway again. So all Keith's hard work in the qualification is now undone, so we're going to have to re-qualify here.
Yeah, I need to clarify something I said earlier that was incorrect. That Keith, I did briefly mention it with Keith. The weather file stays intact, so we are actually going to see the same weather as we've just seen replicated again. So ignore the randomness that I was on about. Qualifying is going to be the same as it was before, and then race is going to be the same as it was going to be before. So we're going to have it's no foul play going on here. It's going to be absolutely the same as it was before, and the same for everyone.
So who should pick for the second qualifying?
You know what? I'm going to go with Keith Barrick actually, Ryan.
Oh, why is that, Kate? Why is that, Toby?
I just think he's got the pace. I don't know why.
I'm going to go with Diego Lopez actually.
Well, I'm going to switch up my song here. I'm going to go Darius Ruderski. I think with Keith, it takes a whole lot of stress to run these leagues, especially when there's problems like this. It might be enough to throw him off his game and let Darius or even Jesper sneak in and get the pole here.
Good thinking. Very good thinking. And it affected him in the AGTC as well.
Yeah, it certainly did.
Occasionally.
Yeah. So we've all swapped then. Oh, right, okay. Okay.
So you've gone with Barrick and this Swiderski from Danny and Lopez still from me, so... Come on, Diogo. Don't let me down.
Nothing than pride, really.
Do I win some Frosty Jacks if I get it right?
If you want, it's rubbish.
It is horrendous. I don't know why you've even bothered with that.
So it's good value, though.
Paul Domingos Vaz, right? He's got food poisoning. He's in Europe, and he's having to wait for all these things to happen. So, props to him. There's no Tyler Skurlock here either, so he might be able to get in late now as a result, because he was running late as well. He's at the Indianapolis 500 event. That's why he's not here today.
Yeah, and the thing about Tyler, he finished on podium last round, third, and he also incurred one of the weight penalties. Not nearly as bad as what Jesper has to deal with, but still, hey, no driver wants an extra anything on his car, so maybe he wouldn't be as strong as he was at Spa anyway had he shown up.
I know when Toby comes in the server and selects passenger on our factory, I go much slower. About 4 seconds per lap.
I tried as much as I can to join as a spectator.
That explains my slowness in every game. Apart from GTL, obviously, because I win in that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't connect to GTL games. Annoyingly. Yeah.
I've had a second and 2 wins in that, and I'm on top of the championship table. So.
As I was talking about earlier, just what happened in the DRM race the other day, Brian?
And Toby was 2 seconds lap faster than everybody else. Anybody else though, that's the thing. It's not like it was just me. It was everybody else, and there was there was only one other good driver in there, and he was still. And I finished the race though, and he crashed.
Yeah, that is true. We weren't talking about my illustrious teammate.
For those who have watched TPS leagues before and are familiar with WTM, then you'll be familiar with Muchacho, the as mentioned illustrious teammate.
Not very illustrious the way he retired.
Who actually, Toby, where did he finish in the championship in WTM?
Yeah, ahead of me. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The final race.
I haven't heard him mention that. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's unusual for him as well. So hopefully we're going to qualify pretty quickly here. We're just waiting for everybody to rejoin. Who are we waiting for? We've got 21 drivers in. Are you in this server, Danny?
Yep, I am in. I don't think Reese is back.
Reese,
and, yeah, I think we're missing Sam here.
Yeah, he had a graphic lockup as well, so hopefully he can get in. But several drivers get the graphic lockup with this with wet weather, don't they? Bit of a bug in the race.
Yeah, glad to see John Schneider Stricker is back in. He dropped before during the formation lap. And Neil Lawson, just joined.
So that's pretty much the full complement apart from Reese and Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Reese will be back in. You know, is it? I'm trying to think. I think he's near Perth in Australia, and I'm trying to think what time zone that is. I think 10 in the morning is 8 o'clock at night for him. So what's that? 2.
But he's 10 hours ahead. That's 10 hours ahead.
10 hours.
It's kind of midday on Saturday for him, so it's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1 o'clock, but...
Yeah, lunchtime.
So, well, obviously he's having difficulty with power. So, we're going to go qualifying again here, guys, and let's hopefully this goes without hitch, and hopefully everyone actually gets back in the exact same position they were before, because that would be very fair, but that's not going to happen. So let's see who grasps the opportunities and who falters, and who's got a lucky lap in.
You say it's not very fair. It's still starting from a level playing field again. They've got 10 minutes to do a lap time. It should be plenty long enough. You know, in fact, everyone's got an advantage. They know what the weather's going to be like this time round, so they can time their runs perfectly.
Well, that made no difference last time round, did it? Because it was all dry all the way through qualifying.
No, well,
so.
yes, but they can time it with traffic, is what I meant.
Yep, and it's again 100% dry with forecasts of rain. But like I said, last time we didn't see the rain come into play, so I don't expect it to happen over only 10 minutes here.
And here's my pick for the pole position. We'll follow him round on his flying hot lap. He's actually the first out of the pit, so he'll be the first to set a lap as well. 205.2 is what Keith set, well ahead of the rest of the field. 205.6 from Jesper, 0.7 and 0.7 from Swiderski and Braham. And there was some 6 zeros and 5 8s as well back there. So I think Jesper was obviously. Well, I think Jesper would have been very pleased with his lap time. Would be quite disappointed actually that he's had to re-qualify, because I think he did a very, very good lap time there to get in the front row.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think how much difference the weight would actually make in terms of lap time. In F1 they say a lap of fuel, which is about 4 or 5 litres, is worth 1/10 of a second.
No, don't they say 1 kilogram is worth 1/10 of a second?
Yeah, it's about 3 kilos, but these cars weigh a lot more. 5 litres is 3 kilos, as far as I know, in terms of fuel.
Reese is back in.
Reese is back in.
There we go.
Look at the wide line Diogo uses there to get the maximum speed down the straight.
It's a Keith Barrett trick, that. I'm still going to be boring. I think 30 kilos is 45 litres, so it could be as much as 5 or 6 tenths. So that he could have been on pole if he'd have been at 0 weight. There we go. That's my maths.
That's coulda, woulda, shoulda. Racing doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that, to be fair. As Diogo Lopez comes down towards turns 3 and 4. Into turn 5. I always struggle a little bit with turn 5 because weight opens up. We've got such a fast entry. I often understeer just wide there, and then you've got compromise your run all the way down Big Ben straight.
Yeah, I always struggle to pick the apex actually. Spot on. You always think one lap. You always think, oh, I could have gone 10 miles an hour faster through there, and you try it the next lap. You take an early apex, and you run out of room, and you end up bouncing across the grass and looking like an idiot.
Oh, that's very sideways through there, but got it back on line pretty well. It's good.
Yeah, he did, and he's got a good run as well. So he won't have lost too much time. It still missed that first apex. He wanted to hook up all 3 apexes really with a little bit of understeer through there, get the momentum going. But he won't have lost too much time.
So Diogo comes round the back of the circuit now, down to the walls of 2 very similar kind of right-handers.
I never understand, with this first right-hander here, I never understand why people feel the need to brake in a curved line, why they don't just line it up and then turn in. It is a weird corner. You can if you brake and trail brake into a corner, basically lifting off the brake gradually as you turn the wheel in, or you just do all your braking in a straight line and then whip the wheel in. If it doesn't matter what your style is, there's only really one way of going fast through that corner, and that's braking in a straight line because of the way the track actually curves. I don't understand why you'd curve your braking zone.
Well, that little slip up seems to cost Diego, because he is very slow through the second sector, about 9/10 off of what Keith was running last session.
Wow. So my pick is still not doing very well. Sorry, Diego. Going to be a 6, though.
It's going to be in the
Almost at the high 6, actually, in terms of where he wants to be on the track, at least. We'll go for a second one. Jesper Torborg is 6-0, so that's still 0.4 where he was before. Swiderski is 6-2
as well.
So he's half a second off. But obviously, people just getting their bankers in, I think, just to make sure they've got a lap time. And as Keith Barrett goes a 5-6, I think that actually is still just a tiny bit quicker than Torborg, right?
Yeah, just ever so slightly, yeah. Yeah, ever so slightly, yeah. But there's still the same sort of rough gap that everyone's been doing. I wonder if the track actually did improve last time out after 1 or 2 laps, because everyone's doing. You see, now Tauborg on his second lap is going quicker.
Yeah. Let's stick with Keith Barrett, because he's in traffic here, so this could compromise his run quite a bit. I can't quite see who that is ahead of us. I think one of them is Matt Hunt. As Barrett gets very, very... No, it must be one of the Bonacore cars.
Nelson,
it must be Swiderski.
Swiderski and Nelson, I think that probably is.
Oh, and Barrett runs wide, and that's lost. Look at the gap, look at the ground he lost because of that. All the way down the straight. So I don't think he's going to do very well on this lap time. Let's go on board with Jesper Torborg as he comes around onto the final part of the track. Final sector, should I say, just about to cross that line now. And he's still purple on Barrick, not as purple as Barrick is. Barrick is very purple.
Oh, he's been brave. He's braking on the curb, taking a lot of these curbs. They're very high as well.
Yeah,
he's
you can
pushing hard now.
You can just about get away with hitting the first curve, can't you? But you can't hit the next 2. And Barrick is still up in that second sector, despite the fact he's kind of been a little bit balked by the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's got a car in front of him right now, and Keith is... I think he's got a big enough gap so he's going to be okay.
Yes, but Torborg's looking to improve from third. Yuri Braham 205.9, so he's only 2/10 off, so he's actually closer to his pace than the rest of the field are on this first run.
Yeah, you're probably right about the back collapse. Talbot scraping the wall.
He did scrape the wall. That might have cost him that vital half a tenth.
Lopez 206.1.
5, 6,
Talbot.
7,
Oh, look at that! I think Barrick will still beat his own time.
Oh, Barrick's into the wall. He touched the wall big time there. I think the draft of the car in front kind of pulled him into it.
Yeah, 6-2, so he's not improved.
Wow.
That's a big gap. So, but Talbot has matched what he did in the first session.
Talbot said, I wonder if the faster lap's on the second lap on these tyres anyway on this track. Well, I don't know, because the track temperature is so high.
Yeah, it would definitely be able to get your temperatures up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you got your pressures up at least. Swiderski's out on track. They're all on outlaps at the moment. Paolini's not on an outlap. He's in 6th, so he's looking to improve. But he was 11th, wasn't he? Once you're counting Gardner. He was 10th, of course, in the race, but Gardner was disconnected. So Paolini's looking to get into the top 10 here with his lap time. What can he do? He's not green, so he's not on a PB. No, he's not. Down by miles. Who is?
Yeah.
Nobody's green at the moment. Nobody's setting personal bests or purples. So, calm down a bit here. The eye of the storm, I think. So Yuri Braham starts his lap. Jesper Torborg's on another lap. Let's see what split he's got at the edge of this second sector. He's on 3 laps now on his tyres. And he's well down, so he's not going to improve, and he won't be able to get another lap in either, because it's just 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's about 3 cars that have not recorded a single lap yet. That's Domingos Vaz, Reese Gardner, and Dennis Fillin. Okay, I am just messing up that name right now.
Fillin.
Fillin, there we go. He has yet to... he's not even out on the track yet, so I'm wondering what's going on with him.
Very interesting here. We've got Dino Paolini as the fastest car in the first sector.
Everyone is in the first sector. I don't think Keith's first sector was very good.
Just about to say that, yeah.
Graham and Lopez.
Yuri's back to the pits. He was
Swiderski's 2.5 tenths up in the first sector though. That's a lot more. That's a lot more, of a bigger gap. Vass up to 6th.
So he set the lap time that he needs. That's a good lap time as well.
That's not bad at all. Not for someone that's so under the weather.
Exactly, and Paolini's 5 tenths up on his own time.
Wow,
in sector 2. That's good.
No.
Oh, that's ruined his chances of pole position. He's going to be 5th at best. He may even get overtaken by Paolini.
I think he'll be done by Paolini here. Paolini's doing a very special lap time here.
Lopez is just 2 tenths down in the second sector. Let's see what Paolini can do.
That'll be 3rd place for him.
If he can keep it going, of course. He might even improve on Barrick in the final sector. Oh, he's pushing so hard.
His middle sector just isn't cutting it, about a few tenths down on Barrick.
But Paolini's 5 tenths up in his own time, so if he improves by 5 tenths, he goes 4th.
Oh,
that's brilliant. That's brilliant for Paolini. He was at 11th, as we were saying, in the first sort of run of this.
But here comes Lopez. Here comes Lopez. Oh, he's got a slide. Paolini's 6th.
No.
Paolini's 6th. He's improved by just 1 position, so he's not managed to get ahead of Swiderski. The big slide there from Lopez in the final corner. I think he might only improve to 3rd at most as a result here. Just sticking to the left-hand side for the shortest run to the corner. 206.141. He's improved, but not by anywhere near enough in the end. That's a big shame. So I think that's actually finished the session. Who else is out on track? Eric Nelson's still out on track. What has he got in the final corner? 8th position. He was 10th, wasn't he, in the first session? So he's improved by...
I don't think he's going to improve.
No, he's not.
Nope.
8th. 9th is Matt Hunt, sorry. 10th, Reggie Blaine. Reese Gardner didn't set a lap time, I don't think.
Yeah, he's in the final sector now here.
Oh, he's in there, right. So let's try and skip to Reese Gardner. Sorry for jumping through every car.
There's
Reese
the
Gardner
Aussie.
comes to the line. The one-handed Aussie as well. Very, very quick indeed. As he goes
Brilliant.
6th.
Brilliant time. Look at that.
That is.
One run.
Yep.
One run straight up in the top 10. Brilliant from Reese Gardner.
I love it.
That's very, very good. And he was 9th, of course, remember. Oh, 7th, sorry, in the first. 7th, sorry.
So who are we missing from the top 8 that wasn't there before? Because Paolini's in.
Oh,
I'm
Reggie
going
Blake?
straight to race here, I'm sorry. That's the pace car.
No worries. Trying to think who's missing from the top 8.
Because it's Nelson and Matt Hunt again in 9th and 10th. So, and Paulini's
Reggie
up into the top
Blaine.
10.
Reggie
Yeah,
Blaine.
Reggie Blaine, that's it. He's not improved. Oh, he was on a 6-0, you know, Reggie Blaine.
Wow.
So he's way
Yeah,
off.
he's going to be disappointed with that.
He will
Yeah,
be. But he's still
6-0 would have 6-0 would have got him into the top 2 rows there, you know. Wow.
But that was a lot slower session, wasn't it? I think people are a bit,
Yeah.
perhaps a little bit tired, perhaps. Especially those
Well,
Portuguese drivers, Portuguese and European drivers.
They're all probably messed up as well. They've been fiddling about with the server, not actually doing any laps, and then you've got to jump straight into a qualifying session. That's tough. That
A
is
short
tough.
one as well. A short qualifying session than before.
Yeah,
So
and if you've
you're
got
really better.
traffic,
And
yeah, if you've got
as well.
traffic, yeah, absolutely. That's what the other thing I was going to say. You've only got time for 2 runs really, unless you stay out on the set of tyres. So yeah, I mean that could be why 1 or 2 drivers have got a slow lap time. Just traffic, making mistakes, whatever.
So we're getting ready for the race here. Barrick is on pole position once again. Torborg alongside him, so we still have that situation. Swiderski's dropped from 3rd to 5th. Braham's gone from 4th to 3rd. Lopez has moved up from 5th to 4th. So it's still the same top 5, just in a slightly different order. 6th Gardner, 7th Paolini, 8th is Domingos Vaz. Let's go now to the grid. Let's go on board with Danny Asby, shall we? While he
Yeah.
leads the field around
While he
once again
crawls through.
on the formation lap. We're going to have a bit of a quicker formation lap this time around, I believe. I've lost where we're at on the grid. There we are. Pressing too many buttons.
I'm very impressed with Paolini and especially Reece Gardner. Straight up into the top 10, 1 run,
Absolutely.
brilliant. I mean, that's one of the hardest things you can do actually is put a strong lap in straight away. For me, I've got to work on my qualifying session. I need to do about 5 or 6 runs, slowly build up. I can't do a quick time in my first run ever. So it's very, very impressive from Gardner.
Especially
Kudos to him.
in the dining second as well of the actual session. That was absolutely fantastic. But it's actually Simon Gardner and Dennis Phelan at the back of the grid this time. Simon Stricker has managed to pull himself off 24th position as he was. Now Danny Asbury is going towards the front of the grid.
Remember the last time Simon Stricker had wheel problems, so he probably wasn't able to set a good time in qualifying anyway.
That's very true.
So maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just guessing. We're all guessing, really, aren't we? Most of the time.
Well, on the formation lap, I'm going to have a malted milk biscuit.
Oh, I've got some chocolate hobnobs actually. I haven't cracked them open yet.
You're obsessed with hot knobs.
I love them. I think they're brilliant.
Get me again.
What biscuits do you like? Please inform us. We'd love to know.
Every biscuit. Chocolate digestives, caramel digestives. The problem with caramel digestives,
Oh, that's a really good shout. That.
in each caramel digestive, there's 80 calories.
Wow.
So I try not to buy them too much because I'm getting old and it tends to actually go on me now rather than just disappear
Really?
in my metabolism. Yeah.
I still eat food and it just gets lost in the metabolism. I don't even know I've got.
Just a little young pup. But I'm partial to bourbons and custard creams as well. I eat them with I always eat the top of it. And then,
Custard creams. I've got a pack of custard creams somewhere in this mess.
you've got to eat the top layer first, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely, got to eat it the right way, dude.
Save it. Yeah.
The way your mother never told you to eat it, you always do it that way.
Yeah, of course. Don't eat like that. It's a plebeian thing to do.
Exactly. Then and when you grow up and you get your own biscuits, eat it however I want. Thank you.
It's probably why people do it. All through history of man, we've been told to eat our biscuits in a certain way. No, actually, I'm going to rebel against your biscuit eating. Fascism.
Let's get back to the race. From biscuit eating fascism, BMW Z4s, and 23 of them, sorry, all with turbos, all 600 brake horsepower. What's that in quick maths, Toby? 6,000,
Good.
12,000, 13,800, something like that.
13,800 what?
Brake horsepower on the grid.
Yes, yeah, that's pretty good, not bad. 20 times 602, 12, 24. No, you've overguessed a bit. It's about 28.
600 times 10 is 6,000.
Yeah.
So, if you add that to get to 12,000, right? 20. And then 3 times 600 is 1,800. That's 13,800.
Sorry, I thought you said 30,800.
Yeah, whatever. Excuses.
Alright, man. Alright.
Graphic design boy.
Anyway, power to weight ratio. I can do power to weight ratio. It's about 450 or 400 brake horsepower per ton in these.
Very nice indeed. That's why they're so
very
difficult.
impressive.
So we are coming now down towards Sunset Bend. Please be quiet, Toby. enough off topic. We're coming down towards Sunset Bend. Danny Esbury is now going to pull off onto the circuit. We look back from Keith Barrick at the rest of the field as they stream through. He got a great start last time, didn't he, Toby? Let's see if he can do that again as the field packs up into the finishing straight. On board with Jesper Torborg. On our right is Keith Barrick. He's not very close to Keith Barrick, is he, Jesper? He's quite a way back. Should be a bit closer. I would be a bit closer. NASCAR style. And Keith gets a very good run once again. Look at that. Great run once again. A superb run there from Keith Barrick. Down towards the first corner. The field streams down into there. Who's going to make it into the first corner first? It's Keith Barrick, of course. Second is Jesper Torborg. Third is Diogo Lopez. Fourth must be, of course, Yuri Braham. Yes, he is. Swiderski is still in fifth. Reece Gardner sixth. Seventh, Nelson. Eighth is Vaz. Where's Paolini headed to? Paolini's back down. Way down the order. Paolini's 23rd. Paolini back down to the back of the grid. What's happened to him? Let's go and find him. There he is, just recovering. So he's had an awesome qualifying session, of course. A terrible start to this race. Who's that ahead of him recovering? That's Dennis Phelan also. He seems to have spun a little bit. And maybe John Seinstrick. No, he's at the back of the field. So two casualties early on. Casualties as such, but they've been slowed up. Barrett leads. Second is Torborg. Third is Yuri Braham. Fourth is Swiderski. Fifth is Gardner, which means Lopez has made a big mistake somewhere. He's now in sixth after being third into the first corner. On the inside now is Vaz. On the inside of Nelson. So I wonder how his concentration is going to help here. It's a shorter race now as a result. 80 minutes of the result of the delays, but still late for him. He's gone up to fifth, so that's great really for him. After his power outage, he's managed to get back into the race, so it's really a get out of jail free card. But a great start to the race there, Toby.
Absolutely, everyone got away pretty cleanly, but there's a little bit of something going on down the back of the field, and Paolini getting mixed up in that, but the front few getting away pretty well, and we're going to see, I don't know whether Reece Gardner's going to hold up Lopez here or not. That's going to be crucial for me, but Gardner's got himself into a good position. In fact, he's maintaining the gap really to Swiderski ahead of him, but the top two I think are going to be the class of the field, and look at Talbot drafting Barrick, having a look left and right into Sunset Bend maybe.
But we know Torborg, he never makes a move early on really, does he? Just stays behind, drafts in behind, knows he's got the speed to keep up, and just doesn't bother about it. And he's a very calm racer, a pleasure really to race against, to be honest, because you know he's not going to make a silly move at any time.
Absolutely, you can trust him to go side by side with him. There are certain drivers who you're always wary when they're sticking their nose in. You've just got to give them that apex really, and just let them get on with it. It's in the bigger picture sort of thing. Yeah, well, that's how you overtake people.
That's how Torborg wins championships. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yuri Braham running wide into the grass. I was speaking earlier about that. It's so easy to run wide in turn one onto the grass on the outside, but it seems there is a bit of a gap. The top four are getting away from the rest of the group. Gardner is under pressure now from Lopez. There's 0.3 of a second of gap as they cross the line. There is the Australian. We'll be very pleased about the delay to the start of the race, to be honest. I would be. And he's gone very wide there, understeering through the exit of the corner. We've seen plenty of difficulty there, and now Gardner has a run down this straight. It's quite difficult to make a move down here, isn't it, Toby? Because it curves to the left, so a defending driver should just kind of put it in the middle of the road, and nobody can get past, can they?
Yeah, well, absolutely. There were better overtaking spots. It's better off to wait later on in the lap. Definitely down the back straight is your best opportunity. Danny down in the pits.
Yeah, just important to note that Paolini, he took some rear end damage there in his little contact earlier. He did not go into pits to fix it though, so he's going to try to tough it out. He's up actually all the way to 17th due to some contact here in midfield. Also to note, Jim Egan was had a little trouble, ran off. I think maybe a little damage on his car, but he also didn't come in the pits. I'll update on what those guys are doing later on.
Just watching Barrick there, running straight over the grass into the fast section of corners. I'm not sure what he was doing, but it didn't help his speed because Torborg is still right up the back of him, coming down the straight. And Torborg was loving the draft because he's got more weight, of course, and that means he's got less speed down the straights. He'll be loving the draft, which will be negating the fact that he's got more weight. So the strategy is beginning to play out here what strategies people are on, whether they're just going to go straight with the normal strategies, just a bog standard kind of two-stopper, or whether they're going to go short and long stints here and there. But Barrick sets the fastest lap of the race. Very marginally from Talbot, because he's not pulled away in a kind of overall tenth of a second.
He's keeping the gap as close as he can. Is Talbot right now? I'm watching Swiderski. He's a little bit out of control on this lap so far. It's all about time management and thinking about what the weather might be doing in a few laps' time.
Swiderski is just trying to get back to the back of Yuri Braham, as you can see, because Swiderski obviously qualified in 5th, but got past Lopez pretty quickly, so he'll be pleased with that, of course, and he can leaves him free to pursue the rest of the drivers up front. If he stays where he is, he will be in second place in the championship. Yes, he will definitely be in second place in the championship overall. So he just needs to get kind of a podium or near podium result, really, just to carry on his strong run of results.
But Talbot's very close to Barrick on this lap. Very close. He's almost on his back bumper right now.
Here is Barrick and Talbot.
Saying that, Barrick pulls away for just in that sequence of corners, just as we come back to Lopez. So these are the crucial corners. See, Barrick just ran just a metre wide then, and Talbot was able to close just a little bit.
Much smoother out the corner as well there. Used half the curve rather than using all the curve that Barrick is. Barrick, like he was at Spa, he's looking much more ill at ease. That's definitely not grammatically correct, but that's how I feel about it. He looks much more out of shape, and it's like he's pushing just a bit harder than Talbot does.
Yeah, what it is it looks like the way the cars are set up. Talbot very much likes his car to be gripping from the rear and understeering maybe slightly more than Keith. He likes a twitchy car, a car that turns in to the corner, and you'll see that in the mid-corner phase, that especially in the slower corners, that Keith is correcting mini slides through the corner, whereas Talbot is sort of still through the corner. It's how you can see it then, just on the entrance to that corner then. It's very much how the body language of the car is set up. It's very much driver preference thing, actually, and Keith likes his cars to turn in. Talbot likes his cars to grip, and that's how they set up their individual cars. Oh, what I can't say. Talbot very slight. I don't know why I bother sometimes.
And on the exit, on the exit, it goes onto the grass as well. But fastest lap from Barrick, and it was the 2 tenths faster than Talbot on that lap, and Talbot setting 2:06.5s 2 laps in a row. But we saw in the last race there, Toby, how Talbot was much stronger than Barrick in the final part of the stint.
Yeah, it's about his setup. It's about maintaining that consistency. Barrick's setup will be quicker over one lap. It's always quicker to have the car driving from the front wheels than it is from the back. What I mean by that is that the back is loose rather than the front. Got some news on the pitch from Danny.
Well, it's not the pitch here exactly, but Paulini, he is up to 15th after falling all the way back to 22nd there after his first lap contact. Seems to be a lot of rough play here going on toward the back of the field. Eric Estes has also picked up some pretty heavy damage, but he has not entered the pits and is continuing on.
Well, let's check some of that battling at the moment. So we move back through the field. Yuri Braham has been pursued by Darius Swiderski. That's how it's been the race so far. And up the inside, Darius almost up the inside of Yuri Braham there. That was very, very closely. Let's stick with this battle just at the moment before we go towards more towards the back of the grid. Reece Garner's still in 5th, Lopez 6th, Vaz 7th, Nelson in 8th. But this is the battle we can focus on at the moment. Battle for the final podium position at the moment. And second place from championship, Darius Swiderski. Up the inside, not going to make a move there, I don't think. It's just a bit too far away. There's no real braking into that corner. There's not much margin, but going up the inside.
Oh, here he goes. Oh,
here we go.
Wow.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, that's not an overtaking spot, really, Darius. And he's lost some ground as a result. Yuri, all he had to do then was turn in, and Darius had nowhere to go, and he's maintained that gap. Darius was better off holding back and just waiting for this straight and having to go down into the hairpin, but he's lost that momentum now. So he'll have to close back up on this lap. Look how much later he is on the brakes.
We're getting around with the brakes as well, but Yuri gets a great exit from there. Look at that. Superb exit he gets. Despite the fact that he was missing the apex, he got his car quite sideways and using the almost rally technique of getting the car pointed in the right direction and just putting the power on. This gap seems to have just broken up just for the second, so let's head back through the field. Reese Gardner 5th. He's had a reprieve after his power outage, and he's back in the race. 6th is Diogo Lopez. 7th is Domingos Vaz, which is fantastic considering his condition. 8th is Eric Nelson. 9th is Matt Hunt. That's fantastic for him as well because he had a torrid time obviously in the opening lap at Spa. Didn't get past that. 10th is Reggie Blaze, moved up from 11th on the grid, taking advantage of Paolini really. It's the only driver that's kind of moved position in any shape or form.
Reggie just made an overtake there on Manuel a few corners ago, so he seems to be on form here early.
So that is Manuel just in behind him. Ethan Bass is in 12th position, fending off Paul Wood. He's the only one of the Terra Australis racing guys here today, which is unusual because they are usually stalwarts of the American TPS leagues, the two Wood brothers and Tiles, but hopefully they'll be back soon. It's a shame not to see them here. 14th is Peterson, 15th is Dino Paolini, gaining very rapidly on Peterson ahead of him. But Keith Barrett sets the fastest lap once again. That's very close to his lap before, so he's been very consistent despite the fact he looks a bit more out of shape, Toby.
Yeah, he's banging in the lap times, and he's definitely pulling away at the moment from Jesper, but obviously it's early in the stint, and we've seen before that Jesper looks after his tyres maybe a little bit better than Keith. So watch Talborg sneak up to the back of him, maybe in a couple of laps' time as they head towards the first stop. Still expecting a little bit of rain, but we haven't seen any sign of that yet. We'll keep you updated on that.
Still very bright and sunny. 16th is Neil Larson. 17th is Simon Gardner. He's moved up from towards the back end of the grid. 18th is Michael Carver. 19th is his sister teammate John Seinestricker. 20th is Eric Estes. 21st, Jared Keane. 22nd, Dennis Phelan. They're all involved in a big battle here at the back of the group. Egan, Phelan, Keane, Estes, Carver, Seinestricker, and Gardner's kind of pulling away from that group now, I think. Yes, he is. So let's go back towards the front of the field. Now that we've shown you the battles throughout the field, nothing really happening big time at the moment at the front of the field. Barrick has a 1.8 second lead from Jesper Torborg. That's 0.7 of a second he's taken away from Torborg in the first sector, but Torborg's recovered 2/10 again in that second sector, so it's swaying backwards and forwards ever so slightly, and it's very close once again, just like it was at Spa, but Keith seems to have the upper hand at the moment. But Torborg will be very pleased with running his second with his weight penalty.
Oh, absolutely. It's vital for Talbot if he wants to maintain his championship lead, which I have no doubt that he will do so. He's a fair distance ahead of so some of the pre-season favourites, Barrick and VR especially.
What we've missed is Yuri Braham, 7th position now.
Wow.
He's dropped back from 3rd to 7th, so he's made a big mistake somewhere, and not that big a mistake actually. He only lost himself 6 seconds, but that's all it takes.
We saw Swiderski making 1 or 2 lunges. I wonder if there was a little bit of contact there. Just speculation at the moment, but it could be the reason.
Yeah, I'm checking Yuri's car. It looks pretty clean right now, so maybe he went out, had an off or something.
Possibly at the hairpin, he could have outbraked himself there.
He looked out of shape one lap we were watching him, didn't he, into there? So maybe he just spun it round and had to stop and get going again. So
yeah, if you miss your braking point there and just run wide onto the grass on the outside, the grip level out there is not very good at all, and you end up sliding back down the order. So that's my guess as to what's happened to Yuri Graham.
And far from challenging Reese Gardner, Lopez is falling back into the clutches of Vaz and of course Braham as he recovers. So Lopez is not really showing the strong race pace that we expected really here.
Yeah, I don't know what's really going on with Lopez. I wonder if he's I don't know. I wonder if he gambled on. I was going to say, I wonder if he gambled on wet tyres, but he'd be much slower than he is. News down in the pits with Danny.
Yeah, we have Reggie Blaine and Paolini. They are in. It seems a little early to me. Only lap 7, so I'm wondering if these guys are perhaps struggling with a little damage here, because it just strikes me as awful early to be doing the first pit stops.
Paolini perhaps, definitely, but Reggie Blaine, he was moving forward through the field, so I'm not sure what's happened to him, unless we just missed something that happened very recently, of course. Here's Reggie Blaine now in the pits.
What if they're gambling on wet? It'd be very strange to do so.
No, definitely, that'd be a terrible gamble right now. Look at the
It
sky.
would be a terrible. I know, yeah. What the rule of thumb is, we want to be on the right tyres in the right conditions.
Yes.
If you're on wets in bone dry conditions, you're going to lose so much time. You're going to actually lose on 2 laps what you would have gained just pitting when it twice, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I'm not articulating very well, but I hope you understood what I mean.
Just about. It is very late, and Torborg has kind of pegged the gap to Barrick now. 1.8 seconds is the gap. I'm sure Torborg's pretty happy with that gap, actually, considering how far back Barrick is in the championship.
Bass has done Lopez, by the way, for 5th place.
So we've missed that as well. So we're missing all the action here with all the overtakes. Unfortunately, Vaz, Lopez and Braham. People stop pitting and spinning, and then we'll actually see some of the overtakes, please. So Vaz, it's fantastic, isn't it, really, Toby, to be 5th place in the condition that he's in.
Yeah, food poisoning is not something that you want for a lengthy sim race, definitely. It can really sap your energy as well. It's not
Absolutely.
just...
Sap your strength as well. I mean, you are sat there for a long time working your arms.
Graham's getting very close to the back of the Portuguese driver here.
He is. Putting the pressure on, trying to make up for the mistake that he made. He wasn't at the first race here at Braham, so he's not really in the championship hunt. But he's a very quick driver, of course. We've seen that in the ATCC. 4th overall. Plenty of podiums. Not a win, unfortunately. Unlike
He
in
deserved
previous
to win,
seasons.
actually, didn't he, really?
He probably should have won probably a couple at some point, but
Yeah.
it never really happened. Never came good for him, did it?
No, he always seemed to be. Yeah, I don't know. It was a up and down season for him. He had 1 or 2 incidents. One with Vio at Rattlesnake Point, and it knocked him back a little bit. He still finished 4th, as you say, and it was pretty competitive, really, considering the strength of the field. But yeah, it's nice to see him in the top 10. It was 3rd place early on, and dropping back down the field has compromised him a little bit. He's got a run on Lopez though now, very close behind him.
Trust you. Expect to see pit starting very soon here. I mean, we're on lap 8. We're also on that 20-minute mark, and that's about the max you can get out that 80 liter fuel cell. So expect the pit lanes to start really.
And into the pits with Reece Gardner, just on cue, Danny. Into the pits.
Here we go.
There's Reece.
And Darius as well. Let us know if they're gambling on 2 tyres as well, Danny. Perhaps they might go with 2 tyres, gambling on the fact that it might rain and everyone comes in for wets anyway, so...
Yeah, but like you said, Ryan, it's looking very clear at the moment. I'm not sure if these guys really want to take that type of gamble with the position they have on the track so far.
I would. I'm risky. Dangerous.
Yeah.
These guys are they're in for 4 tire stops. They're taking a long time in here.
That'll take a long time. Who else is the pit? Somebody else with that?
Paul Wood just came in.
So Terra Stratus guy, sorry.
And Matt Hunt.
Matt Hunt in as well.
So Swiderski is going to get it back out ahead of Gardner.
Yes, indeed. Where is Gardner? There is Gardner.
It just
leaving now.
Got out.
So they look like 4 tyres pit stops, don't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. Routine 4 tires, 80 liters, and these guys are going to be on their way for another 20 minutes.
Okay,
Michael Carver just comes in, yep.
So they drop back to the back of the grid, way behind the rest of the field, really. There's 16th place, that's the next really target who hasn't pitted. That's John Seinestricker. He's dropped back towards the back end of the field, so he's had a bit of a spin, because he was battling with Egan Phelan and Keane at one point, so unfortunate for him.
That might work, you know. Oh, Gardner in the wall.
Reece Gardner into the wall, Keith Gardner.
Oh no.
Reece Gardner into the wall. He's
got it to puncture. He's got a puncture.
Definitely a puncture.
Oh no, Reece.
Surely the puncture. Oh, has he got a puncture?
Was that a puncture? That looked so much like a puncture. He was in 3/4 of the car was sort of in the ground. It looked like.
No, he has no puncture. So he's got away with it.
Wow.
But look at the damage on the front end. Oh, he comes out on cold tyres. Well, not cold tyres, but because they're warmed up in the race. So not quite sure what he was doing there.
All right, guys. Tallberg is in the pits. The first, he's pitting from 2nd place, so one of the big guys going in.
So Keith carries on. In the pits first is Talbot, Vaz, and Braham, right? Yeah.
Yep.
let us know if there are anything more than anything less, sorry, than 4 tyres.
What I was going to say before Gardner excited us all by hitting the wall was that it might work. They've got a big gap in front of them. It might work for them if they pull out a decent outlap. Those fresh tyres will give them a bit of a jump. We might see Swiderski, for example.
So you jinxed him by thinking it.
Well, yeah.
So track temperature is 41 degrees, Toby.
That's so high. That's one of the highest I've ever seen a track temperature in race.
Jesper Torborg leaves the pits, of course, ahead still of Domingos Vaz. It's between these two drivers, Domingos Vaz and Yuri Braham, actually. I'm quite interested in seeing who comes out first. As Vaz has fired up his car, just see the flames spit out the back of the car there. And out he goes. Where's Yuri Braham? He's coming out of the pits now as well.
He's
and
well behind, Ryan.
He's well behind, look at that. How did that happen, Danny?
I'm not sure what's going on right there. I expect most of these guys are starting on 80 liters, so there's really no room for leeway there. I'm perhaps maybe Yuri even forgot to call his pit crew or something like that.
It's not enough of a gap for 2 tyres. It's a much bigger gap for a 2 tyre stop, I think, isn't it, Danny?
Yeah, because you're getting at least 6 to 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's only 3 or 4, so...
But good work there from Domingos Vaz's pit crew then. As out of the pits has come Yuri Braham. He's in behind Reggie Blaine now, who pitted early, right? So he's got the undercut.
Yeah.
That's fantastic for him. Reggie was quite a way behind that group, right?
Yeah. Well, remember, Blaine pitted on lap 6. That's a full 2 laps ahead of anyone else, so he really tried to go for the undercut there.
Wasn't it lap 9, though?
I believe Reggie went in on lap 6 or 7.
Yeah, Reggie was very early, Ryan. Remember, Paolini and Reggie Blaine came into the pits very early. We were commenting on that, and then we had 1 or 2 laps of watching Lopez get overtaken. And yeah, I think it probably was lap 7, you know. So yeah, a very, very big undercut. I wonder if Reggie was gambling on the weather.
Maybe had a lower fuel count for the start of the race, perhaps. But rejoin now. Oh, Nelson Lopez into the pits, Danny.
Nelson Lopez in the pits as a few back markers. Glenn Peterson and Michael Carver were just in, and Paul Wood was already in, and most of the guys have already completed their first stop here.
Barrick's still out on track.
He is. He's going long. Oh, it must be to the pits now, right? 2:22 on that lap. Yeah, he's into the pits now.
Ah, never mind then.
So the leader pits. Let's watch Jesper Torborg as he comes round. Here is Jesper Torborg. No, that's not Jesper Torborg. It can't be. It is Jesper Torborg.
No, he's not. Really? Has Keith made a mistake?
What's
I'm
happened
not sure
here?
what this is.
Where is Keith? Keith has left the pits, right?
Yeah, Keith is just out, and he comes out to be in front of him. Simon Gardner's in the lead.
Yeah, oh, he's well ahead, actually. We saw him leaving the pits rather than just entering the pits, so that's...
Right, I thought he was... right, okay.
Yeah, that panicked me as well. Like, what
I
went
thought
on
he
there?
was coming in to pull into his stop, but it's obviously... Okay, so that gap's been roughly maintained. Maybe a slight increase for Barry.
I think it's been increased by quite a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It's about 3 seconds now.
That's a first split coming up.
Yeah. Garner is in the lead of the race. He's just guessed. Look at that. When Torborg comes across, yes, 3.2 seconds. Look at that.
Cool, that's good guesstimate.
And Barrick has gone, I think, 1 lap longer, right, than Torborg. So that's great news for Barrick, really. If he can extend the gap and he pits, you know, if he pits later, that's definitely fantastic news.
Yeah, Keith went to lap 10. Talberg went to lap 9.
I think Swiderski lost some ground. He was around about 10 seconds, and now he's 11 seconds behind. Oh, it was probably around about the same as it was.
Yeah.
Gardner's not lost as much ground with that bump as I thought he would do. He was only about 3 seconds behind Swiderski before the pits anyway, and now he's pretty much the same. But the big winner from those pit stops has been Blaine, who's jumped right up to the head of this queue. Ahead of Braham, ahead of Hunt. 9th is Nelson, 10th is Paolini, 11th is Diogo Lopez. He's way back. What's happened to him? Any
Long
problems
start
with the
must have
pits?
been...
And Domingos Vaz, 16th.
Wow. What? Wow. What lap times is he doing?
I wonder if he has sped in the pits because he came out of the pits in a reasonable position.
He was
Came well in front of Yuri.
Yeah, he was about 2 seconds ahead of Yuri, wasn't he? Yuri Braham.
I think he was way ahead of Yuri, wasn't he? Because remember we were commenting how big the gap was.
Oh, I love this. I love this sort of deciphering of strategies that goes on. This is brilliant. The fact that we never quite know what's going to happen after a pit stop, who's going to come out ahead of who. You know, we're guessing why someone slowed down. It's brilliant, and
I think he's had a stop and go.
Yeah, I think
that's why he was so fast. That's why he got the gap in the pits, because he was so fast entering the pits.
Was it him? Was it him who was very late in practice, almost at the start of our coverage? I think it was. You know, that you said someone was. I think it was Vass. So yeah. Anyway, in conclusion, we think he sped in the pits and then had to go through again.
Okay, Simon Gardner's the last pit, so...
Yeah, last pit for Simon Gardner. He actually stretched his fuel cell out 11 laps, so we'll see if that's actually beneficial, or if he lost too much time. Or 12 laps, yes. If he lost too much time, perhaps on those 2 laps, we'll have to see what he does in this next stop.
Well, he was 17th before this pit stop, so let's see where he rejoins now. Glenn Peterson's going to challenge him for that 14th position. Through goes Glenn, and out the pits comes Gardner. He's made a big gain, actually, I think. So he's now ahead of Larson. He's 2 positions in that pit stop.
Well, Voss is in again. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
What is going on with him?
Do you think it's not...
Another stop and go. That's definitely stop and go. He's powered out the pits too hard as well. Hit the wall.
Wow.
Oh, it's all going wrong for him. That's
yeah.
You know, it's down to that concentration again. We were talking about,
the
isn't
sickness,
it? It's so difficult.
yes.
Yeah. So you just make those silly mistakes, don't you?
Yeah, it's very.
And then they build up.
It's very hard to keep your concentration through a 90-minute race. I mean, when you're normal. I mean, when you're sick, it's just gotta be torture right now.
But he's torturing right now because he's had 2 stop and goes, we think, and also he's hit the wall, exiting the pits, and that's just horrendous for him. So that's really compromised his race very, very badly indeed. He's way back down at the back of the grid. Seidenstricker and Carver are also very further down. Much further down than they were before. Keith Barrick, fastest after race, 2:06 flat. That's fantastic for Keith Barrick. 3/10 faster than he went in the first sector, so he's really making use of those fresh tyres. And here he is, and he's pulling away still. Yes, well, 4.1 seconds now. That's a big, big gap. It really is in this sort of league. And Swiderski's being closed down slowly by Gardner. Look at that, 2.9 seconds now is the gap. As Yuri's back into 5th ahead of Reggie Blaine. And now Matt Hunt and Reggie Blaine are attacking each other. It should be a good battle. Matt Hunt have a very strong race here. He will be disappointed he didn't get to race at Spa. He ran far too fast there into the first corner. Almost into the back of the Reggie Blaine. Had to get on the brakes ever so slightly mid-corner. Just to stop, just trail brake into there, make sure he didn't clip the back of Reggie.
Yeah, you gotta suspect Reggie's tires are going to come off a lot sooner than his competitors, so you'll definitely see guys like Hunt really trying to get on him early.
He's definitely made a gain though. I mean, he was 11th before the pit stops, and now he's 6th, so he's gained 5 positions. So whether his tyres go off or not, it's definitely a big gain for him, because I don't think he's going to lose 5 positions as a result of that sort of strategy. So he was always 10th before the pit stop, sorry, so he's gained 4 positions, but still.
He's miles out of sync though, Ryan. He's sort of he's done sort of a half a stint in the first stint, so he's gonna. I don't know whether he'll get away with the same amount of stops or not.
Pitted 2 laps earlier than Torborg, so if he can just go 1 lap longer in the next stint, like everybody else did, then it won't be a problem at all.
It's very interesting because you have a guy like Reggie who goes 2 laps earlier, then you have Simon Gardner who goes 4 laps further than Reggie, or 4 or 5 laps actually.
5 there, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you're seeing a real dynamic between what guys are doing out here. Not as by the book as Spa was.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I always find at these sort of races, I just pack my car full of fuel for the first stop. I always go for a long first stint because I'm always the freshest in the first stint, and then in the final stint I want the best car possible, because otherwise
Reggie's trying to break the toe, and he's got in the way of Hunt.
And Hunt
wow!
On the grass, that was dangerous.
No, you can't. You can't do that, Reggie. He was left and then right, and then he cut right at the last minute on Matt Hunt, and gave him no room. He's got a great run this time.
I think he'll be past before the first corner, way past before the first corner. On board with Reggie Blaine, we just see Matt Hunt just go straight past. So Matt just got off the and got justice there, really.
That was a little bit naughty from our Irish friend there. Oh, and Hunt's run wide, look.
Pushing too hard. You've got the position, Matt. Just take it. Don't push too hard. and he hasn't done. He's got a very nice corner through there. Look at that, beautiful. That was a beautiful corner. Hit the apex is perfect, and again there as well. A bit sideways in the power though, and Reggie's got the smoothness. Now here in behind as well. Also, I think it's Eric Nelson on board. Yes, we are on board with Eric Nelson. Looking forward at Reggie Blaine and Matt Hunt. Matt just got past Reggie, of course. Reggie's going backwards quite quickly, actually. But he's still...
Oh, Hunt wide!
Oh, he's
wide! Good goes Blaine. And Matt is just under that hard.
He's going to get done by Nelson here as well. Nelson is going to do him because there's a right-hander coming up here. It's curve braking, but in fact he's already got him, hasn't he?
Oh, he got... Well, he's on the inside, definitely. That's definitely got massive high ground.
Now you know Eric smells blood here. He sees that Reggie is going off a little bit. I would not be surprised if he gets to Reggie very quickly and pulls a very tidy overtake like he just did there on Hunt.
Hunt wants revenge. Look, he's all over the back of Eric Nelson here. Look, that's not a move.
Not a move.
You can't do that. Just hold back. There's a massive straight, and you get the slipstream as well.
Very tight turning in, isn't he?
Just get a good exit, draft him. Right, here we go.
Here we go. On board now with Matt Hunt.
Here we go.
We're going to look on board actually, look back. From Eric Nelson at Matt Hunt. Going down towards Sunset Bend. Eric just taking the middle of the road. I do love doing that, taking the middle of the road. It really makes the guy behind wonder what on earth.
He's outbraked himself, surely.
Oh, what a move.
No, he's
done. Eric's going to get back here.
Yeah, you got to listen to me, Ryan, sometimes.
Oh, Eric, where is Matt? Matt's on the right-hand side somewhere.
I don't know.
He's ahead of him.
Wow.
Did he actually pull it off?
I win the argument.
Wow, I wonder if Matt covered the apex there, and Reggie was, Nelson was forced to back off on the throttle. That's the only way.
So a great battle here, really. Reggie's loving this, really, because he's just letting everyone else make the mistake.
Matt! Oh my God.
He's so untidy. He just needs to just calm himself back, just 0.5%.
He's got to watch himself, otherwise Eric is going to get him back here.
Exactly. He got a lesson really in kind of touring car racing right there, really, in that section of.
I can see
track.
Matt making a lunge here. I can see him just step.
Oh,
no, you can't do that.
He's right. He's right. He's not doing that. Sideways.
Nelson's right up there with him as well. Look at Reggie on the exit. Matt Hunt's definitely going to get done here again. Same place.
He's not learned. Down towards the corner they come, and he's going to go.
He's got to cut him back. He's got to cut him back.
He's not done.
Yeah, he's still got a better exit.
It's difficult to get the cut back on that because he goes left straight away. And if the guy's ahead, he just cuts straight across you. Sorry, Danny.
Eric has to catch Reggie up because Matt's going to get him back because obviously Matt's not going away here.
This is a great battle to keep us entertained. But Matt just needed not to learn from his previous mistake and decided to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And you just can't do that as a race driver. He takes much tighter lines, doesn't he, than the rest of the drivers. I wonder if that might harm his tyre wear, you know.
Reminds me of Yari Vanari.
He makes a tight line as well.
Yeah, it just turns in trail brakes all the way to the apex. Very early turning.
Reggie's loving this overtaking because he should have been overtaken. He was overtaken, but he should have been done for 2 laps ago by both of these drivers. But yet he's survived another 2 laps ahead of them, and he'll be loving this. He's now lap 17 and he's still on this tank of fuel.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ryan, because now it kind of brings Eric and Hunt's tire wear kind of down to his level, all that scrapping they're doing. So it definitely gives him a chance here to perhaps last a few more laps extra.
So he's done 16. He's on to lap 16, so he's done 9 laps on this tank of fuel. There's one more lap, and he's almost back on the same strategy as the guys around him, and he's gained 4 positions. So it's been a bit of a masterstroke in the end, really, aided by some battling between Matt and Eric.
Yeah, whether or not Eric gets him here, it really doesn't matter, because like you said, he gained a net 4 spots just from his strategy. So even if he loses 1 or 2 spots here, he's still made a good move in pitting early.
And he's still 8 seconds ahead of Diogo Lopez, he's 15 seconds ahead of 10th place. So he's gained 15 seconds pretty much overall, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's Dino Paolini who's recovered back into the top 10. So that's been a fantastic recovery drive from him.
Yeah, his pace has been strong. It was strong in qualifying, and Yeah, it's no surprise. He might get onto the back of this battle by the time the race is done, you know, because they're battling so hard, and tyres are just going to run away from them. Look how quickly Matt Hunt's closed on Nelson, for example. That gap was a good couple of seconds at the start of the lap. It's now down to, well, what does that look like now?
1.1 at the sector it says.
1.1.
So, yeah, exactly. So, and we see Eric using lots of the curb there to enter, and Matt's running wide once again. He just cannot seem to keep the error just out of his car. He's pushing very, very hard. Looks quite quick, doesn't he, to just tidy up his driving just a little bit.
Yeah, those minor little errors. It's what's costing him the lap time and being able to get these guys. That's where you get. It's easy to be quick on 2 corners out of 12 in a lap. It's very difficult to be quick over all 12 corners. That's where you've got the Talborgs of this world. That's why they're up at the front. Matt Hunt, very good driver, very quick driver, don't get me wrong, but those little mistakes, out braking himself, getting it slightly sideways, that's what costs you all the time.
Yeah, it's really controlled aggression, isn't it? You can't afford to go all out. You've got to control that aggression.
Exactly, Ryan, because Hunt could have hooked it up in the overtaking sections, but like Toby pointed out, he
hit the wall as well. He hit the wall at turn 1 and almost span across. Sorry, Danny, go ahead.
And there he goes again. Yeah, like Toby was saying, he could have had a run down the back straight, but he went a little too early at Eric, and then he lost it. So, I mean, in hindsight, he was able to pull the move off, but still.
And look who's catching this group as well. He's caught Blaine by 2 seconds in that lap, Diogo Lopez. So he's definitely got the pace on these guys ahead of him. He's now just 6 seconds behind this group. There's 8 seconds we were mentioning just a lap ago. And whatever problems he's had in the pit kind of stop range, he's definitely making up for them now. But Nelson and Blaine are very, very close once again. Here is Blaine, here is Nelson. Blaine is right back onto the same strategy, isn't he? Absolutely back on the same strategy. People are pitting every 9 laps around about. But now we're onto that section. He's still ahead of Nelson and Hunt.
Yep, and you're right, Ryan. We have guys in the pits. Paul Wood, Dino Paulini. These guys are both in for their second stops. We're going to see more action soon. And Ethan Bass, I believe he got. I want to see a drive-through penalty, man, because he went through the pits, and I don't think he stopped.
You can't get drive-throughs, right, on race? It's a stop and go where you stop and then go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, did he stop though, or did he go straight through?
I think it was very quick. Yeah.
Or maybe he just got pinged for cutting, perhaps. But that's unusual at this track, actually. It usually allows quite a lot of runoff.
Apart from Ryan, down at the hairpin. Down at the hairpin, if you miss the chicane altogether, you do get pinged.
Perhaps that's happened a few times then.
Yeah.
Here's Domingos Vaz challenging Jim Agan, coming back through the pack, of course, after his torrid kind of first section of the race. On the inside of Jim, both give each other room. Excellent racing there. Domingos takes the position away from Jim, as to be expected really, because Domingos has been very fast here today. Dino Paolini's rejoined in 20th position, Paul Wood in 21st, but Dino, of course, is one of the first to pit. Anybody else in the pits?
Yes, Reggie is in. Jesper, he's just coming out now. Interesting thing about Jesper, I believe he's going a lap shorter than he did last time. Last time he was out for 9 laps. Looks like this time he's only doing 8 laps. But Reggie, he seems to have has done about, I want to say, 11 laps or 10 laps, and now he's in.
But Jesper was pitted on lap 9 last time around, right? And he's pitted on lap 18 this time around, so it's still.
Oh, I thought it was lap 17. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's yeah, because Keith has just gone on to the next lap, so it's okay. Lap 19 we're on now, so they've done 18 laps. So Jesper's on a very what's the word? Very boring strategy.
Routine from Dahlberg.
Routine
strategy. That's
standard
the word. But Blaine has really profited. I think Blaine is definitely the winner in that first segment of the pit stops.
I'm interested to see how long Barrick will stay out this time. Whether he'll cover off. He wants to keep that gap, but he doesn't want to give Talborg any chance of being able to catch up with him on the undercut.
And Blaine's rejoined ahead of Jared Keane, and Matt Hunt's behind Jared Keane. There's a bit more of a gap actually to Blaine during that. Look at where Blaine is, so Matt's lost a little bit in the pits. Not too much.
Yeah, he just came out the pits. Neil Larson's about to come out, and Eric Estes has just gone in.
Jared Keane just ran onto the grass there, let Matt Hunt through as a result of that. They're not racing for position per se because they are a pit stop apart. But Matt was out very sideways once again. Reggie Blaine in 11th, he's rejoined. We watch him get sideways out of the corner as well. Temperature's obviously not up to what they're used to before. Simon Gardner is now into 10th position, of course, but he's winning those long strategy. I would guess so at the moment anyway. But Keith had the 5-second gap. Didn't need to Torborg, so he can afford to play around with his strategy a little bit if he wants to. And he's doing. He's going 1 lap longer on every stint, so he's doing 10 laps every stint rather than 9 laps every stint like Torborg is. And that really is a race-winning strategy right there, because he's pulling away from Torborg and running longer.
Well, Darius and Reese Gardner, they are both into the pits here. Again, expect another simple stuff, but 4 tires, 80 liters, and they're going to be back underway soon.
Reese from a very strong 4th position, Toby. That's fantastic for him, considering his reprieve as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely. He's one of the drivers of the day so far. Barrick hasn't put a foot wrong yet, so we'll see how that one goes later on.
I've not seen him dip out of 7s yet. And that's fantastic on the 10th stint.
I'm confused about the. We were forecast a lot of mixed weather, and we haven't seen a single drop of rain.
No, it's still. Well, it's a little bit more overcast than it was, but it's not anywhere near rain, is it?
Look overcast.
Well, there's a little bit of cloud there. Look.
Yeah, wisps.
Wisp of cloud in the distance over the mountain.
It's about 40 miles away. It doesn't look like it's going to rain ever.
Well, it's more than it was before.
Yeah, I don't see the rain coming very soon.
I
don't know why I bother. I'm going to say that now, and it's going to probably rain next lap.
Yeah, and here goes Keith into the pits now. And just to pick up with what you guys were talking about, if it stays dry the whole race, you still have to do the 3 stops because there's 35 minutes left. You obviously can't stay out there the whole 35 minutes with the fuel and the tires.
I don't know who that was off the track.
Yeah,
but that was...
who was that? Somebody way off.
Side stricker, I think.
Side stricker. That was pretty mental going off the track actually as well. That looked very very spectacular.
Yeah, Simon Gardner had an off similar to that about in the middle of his stint, so it might outcome exactly where he comes out after everybody cycles into the pits.
Braham in as well also from 5th, and net 5th anyway.
Yuri is in, yes.
As we watch the Marshall watching Keith. Yellow flag at ready. Very dutiful Marshall he is as well.
I love the marshals in this game. There's one of my favourite marshals is at Detroit. There's one just standing on the exit of one of the corners
with a death wish, right?
Yeah, and he's also facing away from the approaching cars.
maybe he's actually a cheerleader for the crowd.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We had a big chest battle in
Talberg is getting very close here to Barrick.
Indeed, he is. Definitely. Look at that. That's a big undercut. But then again, Toby has not Toby, sorry, Torborg has had 2 laps on fresher tyres than Barrick has. And
Indeed.
I think Barrick has timed that absolutely perfectly. If he can just if he can just break the toe, obviously.
I think Talborg. I still think Talborg will have a go.
Loud, Toby.
Sorry. I think Talborg will still have a go. He's got to really. He's got to try and force Barrick into another mistake like he did at Spa. I think if Talborg does get ahead, it'll upset Barrick's rhythm.
Oh yeah, 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, definitely, Toby. Jasper wants to get around Keith, kind of upset what he's doing strategy-wise, hold him up a little bit, and that's going to allow Talberg to get himself back into contention for the win here.
Barrick just needs to break the toe here, doesn't he? He needs a good section. Otherwise, he's going to have Talborg in the toe and just keep him with him the whole time. So, see what he can do, of course.
With the with the hot conditions out here today, Keith's tires are going to get up to temperature very quickly, so that's really not going to come into play here.
Still watching, it's exciting this.
It's very tense indeed. I'm just looking to see what Talborg has got for Keith. Keith is pushing so hard. Look at that. It was so late on the brakes into that corner.
Look how wide he is on the curve as well, right up to the edge of the grass.
He just almost dabbed the brakes, and it didn't help him actually, because Talborg got a great run off there. Talborg was much earlier on the brakes, but anyway. Oh, look at that, Talborg, really great slipstream. That's really helped his lap time and the gap towards him. This might be the fastest lap of the race from Talborg, you know.
Well, Barrick can drift all the way through the corner.
Just pushing a bit too hard. Just needs to calm it down. He's got the speed. He's got the strategy.
Talbot, look at Talbot's run. This is going to be a couple of tenths at the line. 3.
It's not the fastest lap of the race, but it is only 3 tenths between the top 2. Overall, at least. Lopez is in the lead, but he's still to pit. Nelson into the pits.
Yeah, Eric just went and he pitted from first place, so we'll see what happens after everybody shuffles through.
He was battling with, of course, what's his name? Blaine and Hunt.
It's 4:34, by the way, in England in the morning.
Yes, and I've been all day at a concert, so I'm absolutely shattered. But Barrick is still leading from Torborg, overall at least. Let's just call him leading. So just 3 tenths of a second between those ones. 6 tenths of a second at the braking zone for there, but it looked like Torborg got a better braking in there actually.
Talbot actually was so late on the brakes, he had to bump over the second curb there. Lost him a little bit of time. So, but those two still battling away hard. I'm quite interested about the gap between Yuri Braham and where has Simon Gardner come from? 7th place.
Simon, remember, he's on the long stints here. He was on 12 laps his first stint, so he has yet to pit.
He's yet to pit.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So Braham's okay.
And just an update on that midfield battle between Reggie, Eric, and Reggie got around Eric, but Matt Hunt seems to have been dropped off here.
Yeah, he's some 3 seconds back. Nelson on that, just probably coming to shot just there. There he is. So he's dropped lots of time there. So perhaps his untidiness has cost him. But Blaine's ahead of Nelson once again, and they're kind of on the same strategy. Nelson has run a couple of laps longer, and he's not too far back. So overall, I think Nelson has the upper hand just slightly, but definitely Blaine was the winner in the first pit stops. The winner in the second pit stops has best definitely been Jesper Torborg, without a doubt. As we watched Swiderski run very wide onto the grass there. Garner also as well. Into the pits comes Lopez, so that now makes Barrick the leader, as he was, of course. 0.7 of a second is the gap now, so he just needs to keep extending that gap. 6.3 once again, he's so consistent in those 6.3s. It looks like he's really calmed his driving down as well, look.
Yeah, I do feel Jesper's opportunity to get around has passed. Keith seems to be back in the zone and wants to pull away here.
The thing about Torborg though, he never lets you rest, does he?
No, that's just my point. I was just gonna say that Talbot's just gonna sit there and pressurize him for the next few laps and hope he makes a mistake, because Talbot obviously is on the slightly more worn tyres right now. Not by much, but there we go. Barrick's just a tiny little mistake. Talbot, whenever you've got anyone right on your bumper, it's difficult to concentrate. Now Talbot's right there. Look.
That's the problem with the really fast drivers. You know that if you make a mistake, they're passed. You know, you so much pressure to not make a single mistake. And Torborg's pressure. Look at this. Barrick's out of shape once again. He just made that one small mistake, and then he's suddenly out of shape, and Torborg's all over him. I don't think even Torborg's actually even motioning to make a move. He's just kind of bugging Keith.
Yeah, you just want to make them aware that you are there.
I'm here. You missed an apex. I'm past.
Just sort of poke your nose in occasionally, make a sort of half-hearted dive. Just sort of remind them that you are ready for that little mistake.
So smooth at that. Every time I'm on, he's so smooth.
I know. He never looks like he's going to be sideways as Talbot, and they've got a bit of a draft now as Talbot.
Absolutely, and it's going to help him into this final corner. He's going to make a move. I'd make a move. Is he going to make a move? Into Sunset Bend they go. And no, he's not going to make a move. If you remember the ATCC, they both had a coming together at this corner actually. And Keith ended up...
Oh, here we go.
Let's go on board with this, but no, he's not going to run off there. Keith obviously went for the outside and carried more speed.
Talbot was probably better off letting it run and getting into the slipstream early then.
A 6.3 to a 7.2, that's not good enough.
2 mistakes he made, do you remember? One down at the hairpin.
That was a beautiful line through there though.
Yeah.
That was very, very good. Look at how much he pulled away. Clips the curb nicely. He's so much more aggressive than Torborg. It's lovely to see such different styles of drivers competing very, very close to each other as well.
Yeah, you want Talbot to drive and enjoy. That sideways. Is that Ethan Bass?
I don't know.
That was a very good save. Very good save.
Yeah, note about Ethan, he just went in for the 3rd time today, so I'm pretty sure he did get a penalty about, what was that, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. About
And
24.
Simon Gardner, he's the last to pit from P6. So he's actually stayed out now, I think another 12 laps. So, or was it 11 laps? Very impressive from him either way.
So, lap 24, standings are, everyone's cycled through. Barrick, Tolbob, third place is Swiderski, again on the podium. Fourth is Reece Gardner, a fantastic running really hit for him at the moment. Fifth is Yuri Braham. Sixth is Reggie Blaine. Seventh is Eric Nelson. They're resuming their battle. Blaine is really coming out on top in terms of strategy there at the moment, and speed it seems like in this stint as well, because he's pulling slightly away from Nelson. Eighth is Matt Hunt. He's dropped back from that battle. Ninth is Joker Lopez, and he's had very poor pit stop once again, because he was only 5 seconds behind Nelson before that pit stop. Now he's way back. 10th is Dino Paolini on a great recovery drive. 11th is the first person to be lapped. That's Sidonio Manuel, and 12th is Paul Wood. 13th is
Manuel's
14th is Gardner. 15th is Larson. Gardner just comes out of the pits. He was 15th before the pit stops. Now he's 15th still, so he's not been able to make any gaps there. In fact, he's lost position to Larson, I think, overall. So 16th is Domingos Vaza after a torrid for kind of pit stop round. 17th Estes. 18th is Bass. And Phelan out of the race. Dennis Phelan out of the race. Suspension failure for him. So he is the first retirement from this race. Unfortunately for him. So that's actually quite good, actually, Toby. The fact there's only been one retirement so far out of 25 laps.
That's it. Considering there's only been a few incidents as well. We've only seen Gardner hit the wall. There's only been one or two. Paolini, who obviously was caught up on the first lap. So it's been pretty good from these guys, you know. One thing I was going to say was Paolini has moved back through the field pretty good after his early incidences, and will be looking to challenge for a decent top 10 finish. I don't think he'll be able to.
He's moved back
and the other thing
good. Is that your best? Is that your best English?
Yeah, my English is well good.
By the way, guys, Toby's from Oxford, and the dictionary in the UK is called the Oxford Dictionary, and yet Toby still can't speak it. Anyway, moving on to the race, Toby.
Yeah, my final point was Barrick has slightly extended his magnificent lead over Danish driver Jesper Talbog here. It's just moving up by 1/10 roughly every sector. So Keith obviously stretching his legs once again and moving through the lap traffic with ease. So congratulations to Keith.
And just to pick up there what Toby was saying, Paolini, he was down to 22nd at one point during this race and had damage to his rear bumper, and he kept his head in it and is now up to 10th. So hats off to him. Also, after pulling away a little bit, Reggie Blaine seems to be slightly pulled in here by Eric Nelson, who you gotta suspect Reggie's tires are going to get him at some point, but he still has a reasonable gap over Eric. And Matt Hunt, it seems to just he's gone into the next zip code. He's completely lost these guys.
Yeah, Blaine's tires are only 2 laps older than Nelson's this time, rather than 3 or 4. So he managed to hold Nelson at bay last time, and I think he might be able to do this time as well. So looking for a top 6 finish here. So it'll be good stuff for him. Nice work, Toby, on attempting to be eloquent there as well, also.
Oh, thank you.
Eloquent, even, sorry. Eloquent. Can't pronounce the words.
Eloquent.
Eloquent.
It's like on LA Noir. Can you help us with our inquiries?
Hey, no, what did you call it the other day, Toby?
That game that's really good. Anyway, moving on.
Toby called it... Danny, Toby called it La Noire.
Wow.
Reece Gardner into the pits. Sorry, let's get back to the action. Reece Gardner into the pits. It's quite early, right?
This is very early. Let me actually check the time. It was just we're on 22 minutes. Okay, I guess you can stretch your fuel tank 22 minutes. You're going to be very careful, but definitely early for that third and final stop.
He's in a very lonely 4th position overall, net 4th position actually. So maybe he's just feeling just to play it safe, have a nice pit stop, and just bring it home in that 4th position.
Well, actually, he just pitted in from P5. I'm not sure who got in front of him. It might have been Yuri, I think. Yuri pulled an overtake, or Reece had an off or something, and I guess Reece decided now to duck into the pits.
But perhaps it was just in the pit lane that Yuri just passed him, because obviously the pit lane's before the start finish line.
Yeah, the gap was about 3 or 4 seconds, so it could well be that as soon as when you did notice him come into the box, that Yuri had already gone by him on the straight.
I could have sworn watching him last lap and seeing him in 5th, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, perhaps he did. So we'll hopefully get the lowdown on that after the race.
We have been talking about my vocabulary, so
yeah,
rather than concentrating.
Third is Darius Swiderski. He's in a very lonely third. He'll be happy with third. I'm sure he will be, because that means second in the championship overall. Jesper Torborg doesn't have the pace to live with Barrick, but he has much better pace this stint, doesn't he, than he did in the last stint, because he drops almost 5 seconds behind in the last stint.
Yeah. What I'd do if I was Jesper Talbot right now, I'd be jumping into the pits and trying to undercut Barrick.
Would you do that? Would you do that with a 92-point lead over your biggest rival, though?
Yeah, no, you've got to win every race. That's how I drive. If I'm miles ahead of anyone, I'd like to set the fastest lap on that lap as well.
It gets Toby in trouble more often than he cares to admit.
I tell some of my teammates on TeamSpeak that this lap I'm doing fastest lap, and from time to time I end up in the wall. But there we go. Okay. That's
very interesting. Very interesting thing going on here with Eric and Reggie. You were right, Ryan. It seems Reggie is just checking out on Eric, and for some reason Eric is flashing his lights or warming up his brakes or something on the main straights. I'm not sure what he's doing really.
Yeah, I noticed that. I wonder if his brake pedal's just dragging ever so slightly.
Interesting.
We'll have to ask him about that. I noticed that as well earlier on. I just thought maybe I was seeing things, but yeah, you're right. You're right, Danny.
Okay. You thought maybe you were seeing things.
well, obviously I was seeing things. It's late, dude. It's 4:46.
It's only 12 minutes since we last checked.
Oh! Almost off the track there, Nelson. He's not gaining on Blaine at all, is he?
He's doing his best.
Blaine is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, but Nelson is pushing very hard, trying to catch up with Reggie, and the Irishman's just got him covered right now.
2 laps fresher tyres.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Hunt ducked into the pitch. Looked like he had enough of getting pulled away from Reggie and Eric. Also in the pits is Paul Wood.
So Paul Wood pitted well.
I'm sorry.
So Paul Wood is one of the ones that pitted early, and pretty much all of the stints. So he's keeping on that kind of strategy. And Jesper Torborg into the pits, lap 27. So he's
here we go.
Again.
This is like clockwork, really. But if I was Jesper, I'd have been in maybe a lap earlier, because this final stint's going to be. Well, what, 17 minutes?
Yeah, 19 minutes on the clock. Max, you can go, I want to say 21, 22 minutes. So, Jasper, he should be very much good to go here.
Jasper's into the pits. I think that Jasper knows exactly what he's doing here. He'll be happy with the second place. He has a 92-point lead in the championship at the moment. He won't lose very much as a result. He'll only lose 11 points if he comes second to Keith. The gap will still only be, 92, 81. And he knows how to win championships. He's a double champion, of course. RDTCC, ATCC, and very dominant in all of them, actually.
Yeah, and speaking of the championship picture, Darius Swiderski, who I predicted to have a nice round here, he's looking like he's going to get a podium finish here today.
listen to Danny.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, good round.
Hey, when I call it right, you guys don't know about it. Okay? but at one point, he's going to have to jump Tallberg to get him in the championship, of course. But he's in good position as anybody right now to do it.
Well, I don't think Swiderski has the speed to beat Tallborg. Perhaps he's waiting for Tallborg to have a bad round, you know. So unless Swiderski would go to a track that he really likes. In fact, I think Watkins Glen is one of the tracks he really likes. So we'll see what he
does. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I was just going to say the ATCC didn't Swiderski do well here actually at Sebring.
He did. He won a race here.
Yeah.
It's the only win of the season actually.
Yeah, so Swiderski on the podium is less of a surprise than it was at Spa. I mean, I don't think anyone predicted him to be in second place at Spa. But then,
he just sat there and took advantage of all the problems, didn't he?
Yeah.
Really? And he wasn't that far behind the leaders either, to be honest.
He was battling with Talbot. He was ahead of Talbot early on, wasn't he? So
he was. He got a good start. Yeah, Talbot qualified quite badly there. Fourth place, I remember.
Sixth. He was already back in 6th for that race.
No, so Torborg comes back and wins the race. So he's amazing, Torborg. It always amazes me how he drives. Keith is still going around, so he's still sticking to that 10-lap stint each time around, and that might bite him this time around, you know, because he didn't have
Did you see how much?
that time.
Just gonna say, did you see how much? Did you see how much Talbot gained on him last time round? He was almost on the back of him. I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna stick my neck out. I think Talbot could jump him if Keith doesn't pit this lap, because he might not.
Keith will pit this lap, I think.
Do you?
Yeah.
Only 16 minutes left. He's got to come in now. It makes no sense for him to stay out this long.
Well, he's been doing 10 laps since each time round, so maybe he'll pit next lap. You're right. But if I was him, I'd pit this time around because Torborg gained 3.5 seconds on him, maybe even 4, from pitting 2 laps earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the gap. It's 1 minute 8 seconds, .3, and it's down to 107.6. He's got to come in.
Torborg's got in.
He's got to come in this lap.
The gap was 1.6. Of course, Barrick only doesn't have to take as much fuel, though, of course.
No, but it's not half a second.
You can't fuel and take tyres at the same time.
No, I know, but that's
the big thing.
I know, but it's only what I can't remember the maths, but it's going to be less than a second, really, the difference.
I think it's a couple of seconds, you know.
Really?
It's long. Remember the long circuit? If he takes 3 laps less fuel, that's a lot. So this could be Keith's winning.
Interesting. This is what I love. Talbot 1 minute 7.5 now. He's only getting a 10th in that sector.
Will Keith pit this time around? He's tight line. He's in. He's in.
Yeah, he needs to get in. Good move here by Keith. Yeah.
Gets it just about slowed down.
Still waiting for Talbot to cross sector 2, I think.
Here is Talbot now along the back of the circuit. This is for the win of the race, really. I think if Talbot gets ahead, I don't think Keith can get past him.
Want to bet?
They had a bit of a bust up at the final corner of the final race of the final
106.9.
Oh, he's gained a lot. He's got him. I think. Unless Keith has got that less fuel kind of sort of thing has really worked for him. I think he got him. Such a long pit stop here.
I know, it's nail biting. So is Barrett still stationary?
Yep, he is still stationary. He's dropping the ground. He's going now. He's going.
Torborg's coming at 150 kilometers an hour.
I know it's anyone's guess. Anyone's guess.
Here comes Barrick. Let's go on. Let's watch from this point of view. I know it's
look at this. Look at this.
Look at, but it's definitely the best view. This sort of thing. Through goes Nelson to take the lead, so he's going to pit late once again. So Barrett comes out now, and where is Talbot? No,
he's got him.
Talbot? He's got him. So that the less fuel has really helped him. Look at the big gap.
Okay, I was wrong about Keith. He knew what he was doing from the get-go. Well done, Mr. Barrett.
That was excellent strategy play, really, from Barrett. He knew that he'd go short on that fuel.
Absolutely. Keith dominating race. I'd just like to remind you that I predicted him for pole, so well done, Mr. Barrick.
But the gap now is 2.9 seconds, so Torborg has lost 1.3 overall, despite the fact he had 2 laps on fresher tyres and he was quitting the lead quite quickly.
Way quicker as well, wasn't he? He was doing 1.5 seconds a lap quicker, wasn't he? Because
now he's got Lopez in between. Now he's got Lopez holding him up a little bit, so it's not worked out well for Torborg at all. Who just left again? Simon Gardner. Oh, it's a shame. After all that work, and it's also hit the same time in the morning for him as it is for us, Toby. So after all that work, and the long stints as well, where he was trying to make it last, and he's had to leave the game. Poor guy. And who's
I want to know
what's
he
retired a while ago. Through goes Lopez. Through goes Torborg on Lopez. And that's not cost actually Torborg any time because the gap's only 2.5 seconds now. So
Lopez let him go.
Here, Eric, I believe he's about to come in this lap. It's going to be interesting to see if staying out longer and getting the light fuel is going to be able to get him to jump ahead of Reggie here.
Well, let's go on board. Well, not go on board Reggie. Let's watch Reggie around the circuit and see where he comes out, because that's the other big battle on the track, really, isn't it? They're quite close together, and whether the Barrick strategy of taking less fuel on the last stop and saving time in the pits is going to help Nelson get ahead of Blaine. Oh, gets well out of shape.
Eric
hold
is
on to
still
it.
going around. He is not coming into pits. Only 11 minutes remaining. Maybe he's trying to... I have a hard time thinking he's got enough fuel on board to go the distance here.
Definitely not. Oh, Torbo gets fastest lap.
Wow.
So Torbo is 6-0.
What's the gap now?
That will help in the championship, of course. That's an extra 3 points for that.
2.5.
So still 2.5, so they were still very close lap times, I think. Nelson, I wish Nelson could win bits and I could see Barrett's lap time as well. I think the gap was 0.4, wasn't it? So I think Barrett did a 6.4 on that lap. Well, Barrett will be very happy about that because I think Torbo's only beaten his lap time by a few hundredths. It's taken 3 points off him, which is a bit harsh. 2.8 now.
Yeah, it's Barrett's got his tyres working now. I think Keith has been the class of the field today all the way through. I mean, even in the first qualifying session that we had and before the aborted race start, he was on pole. So yeah, he likes to do well in his own championships, and he's doing so. So
He's a very good driver, of course.
yeah,
Pressure of admin can be quite difficult sometimes. But I think he has less pressure at admin in this than he does with the AGTC, which is not quite as many drivers, not quite as many races.
No. Although today would have been quite difficult for him.
Definitely.
A lot of problems. Where is the rain? I'd love to know where the rain went.
It would be
I'm not
nice
sure
to
what
see some
happened
rain.
to the rain.
Maybe it'll rain with like 5 laps to go. That'd be quite amusing. Oh, it's only 5 laps to go. With like 5 minutes to go. That would be
Yeah,
amusing. Whether to come in or not, or whether to stay on your slicks. That'd be... I'd do that. I'd do that. If I did the weather file, I'd do that. That'd be just amusing.
Yeah, I'd love to know who's actually done this weather file.
I
Michael
think
Van
it was... Yeah, Michael.
Has it actually worked?
Well, it was better at the practice sessions. Whoa, Keith, very hard to do there. Very hard to do. The gap is 2.8 back to Torborg at the sector 2.
No need to do that.
No, it's 2.8 and it's 2.4 now. The gap. Nelson's still going round. What's he doing? Surely he's not
he might be
stretching
trying
his
to
fuel.
stretch it. I'm
He
wondering.
can't. Surely
It
he
makes no
can't.
sense to stay out though.
I don't think even Gardner could stretch it that far, and he pitted the latest of everyone.
Yeah,
Off the
true.
track! Oh, big into the wall! Big accident!
No, oh my God, he nearly hit Barrick.
Oh, that was-
Oh my, wow. Come straight onto the track then.
oh my word! That was so close. Who was that? It was one of blue.
I think it was
Eric
the
Estes, I
purple
think,
car?
right?
Jared Keane,
Yeah.
maybe?
Is that the Keen or Estes?
It could be Keane, yeah.
Try and find out who it was.
Wow.
But it's not this guy, whoever this guy is. It's not Eric Estes, it's Jared Keane. That was a big hit as well. I'm surprised he even kept going. Who's actually in the pits? Who is that in the pits? I can't find out who that is.
We got John's.
Manuel.
Yeah,
Manuel in the
Manuel.
pits. Here he is into the pits. So he's the last. Well, not the last of the front runners. Lopez is still not pitted either yet, you know.
Yeah, Reese Garner's already down in 7, so there's a few guys that have yet to pit so late on.
Reese is way down behind Yuri now. Look at that. 14 seconds behind Yuri, despite the fact he was leading before that. So maybe you were correct, Danny, about his spin, because he's definitely lost lots and lots of ground. So
Yeah,
we've missed
thought,
that, and I
thought
think Danny
Yuri
was
got
correct.
him before
Yeah.
the pit.
And the 3 seconds is the gap between Barrick and Torborg. Lopez must pit this time around, if he is pitting at all. I don't see they must have been, Nelson dropped into the 9s now as well. And you saw how much of a difficult time it is to get past Reggie.
Yeah, only
It's
8 minutes on the clock now.
It's a minute 3 gap that Nelson has over Reggie Blaine, and it took Torborg to about minute 6 out of Barrick, didn't he? So minute 5.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
he
but
was
then...
going behind Blaine, right? Oh, but
No, because of the fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Eric
Point.
is going in now. He's finally going to get this done.
Lopez going in as well.
I
Pretty fast
guess
with
they're
that.
trying to go very light on fuel to save time.
Lopez is still going round.
Oh, wow.
When did Lopez first pit?
Is
Was it lap 10 like the others?
Yeah, I believe he did not stay out later than the other guys.
How many minutes remaining, Danny?
There's only 7 minutes to go here.
3 laps.
Maybe
Just.
4. Where is Barrick? Oh, it's going to be 3, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nelson is dropping, of course, down the order as he comes into the pits. So Oh, he's out of the pits already. That is fantastic. Brayham fast enough the race. Look at that. 206.072.
Where did that come from?
Wow.
Where did that come from, Yuri Braham?
The Dutchman's
three guys in 206.0
in there.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised Barrett didn't set the fastest lap of the race this time around, actually, with his light fuel load. Lighter than usual. Reece Gardner's still coming down. Eric's going to beat Reece out of the pits.
Yes, Eric.
Never mind, Reggie.
Wow.
Wow, that was. Oh, look at that strategy. So
That's
we
brilliant.
That was fantastic. So we had Blaine as the winner in the first pit stops, then Tolborg, and then Nelson. That was fantastic. Look at that, in 6th place.
It seemed like Eric
Masterstroke.
and Keith, both had it right from the beginning.
Well, what about Lopez? Then? Where will he pan out in? He might pan out ahead of Reece or Reggie.
He's in 3rd right now. You gotta think he's going to come in this lap.
Bit of a weird line through there.
Oh yeah, that was a cut right there.
That's perhaps what Ethan bastard at some point. Perhaps that's maybe the hairpin all through there. He got pinged for that. I guess so. Anyway, there's no other way you can get a drive-through. A stop and go outside the first 3 laps of the race, unless you jump the start. So 3.7 is now the gap to Tolborg and Barrick. I think Tolborg knows he's beaten, actually.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He's backing off, isn't he?
He's hit the wall. Fast enough the race from Keith now. 206.
Why?
Still.
Look at the gap!
Well,
Look at the gap!
But he obviously he's comfortable doing that, isn't he? He's not sliding it around.
No.
He's got very low fuel.
Lopez is in the pits here.
So let's see where Lopez comes out. Swiderski will go up to 3rd as a result of this pit stop.
He missed his pit stop. He's backing up.
That's really... Oh, that's such a shame. I hate that when that happens, when you've got a great strategy and then you just ruin it by doing silly mistakes.
Yeah, that could be 3 to 5 seconds right there, easily.
That could cost me his position to race,
Let's see
So Braham goes into 4th, so that's good recovery from him, because he was back in 5th at one point. Here comes Lopez out of the pits now. Nelson is coming around the final corner. Reece Gardner's not too far behind.
I think Eric's going to get him.
But Lopez is going to get ahead of Blaine, I think. And that'll be a result, because Lopez lost lots of time in the second sector of this race. Section even. He's still going down the pit lane, or such a long pit lane. There goes Nelson.
Yeah, we'll see where Reggie is.
There's
Reggie's
Gardner.
going to get him.
Reggie's going to get him as well. Look at this. Oh, he might have got away with
Well,
it if it wasn't for that small pit stop. Error. Sorry, Toby.
I was going to say, is he got him or not?
Yes. he was getting to the pits.
Okay, yes.
And Matt Hunt couldn't get him. What happened to Hunt? He was right on the back of both Nelson and Blaine, and it's just fallen off ever since.
I think a lesson in consistency, I think.
Yeah, just too many offs by him.
Small mistakes here and there, and changing your strategy, and just got a lesson in how to actually drive a 90-minute race, or an 80-minute race as it is, I suppose.
Yep, and speaking of which, only 3.5 minutes left.
Gap between Nelson and Gardner is only 1.8 seconds. I think Gardner might get Nelson here, 5.2 seconds now, the gap between Barrick and Tolborg.
Yeah, Reece is definitely catching Eric up. He's only got about 2, maybe 3 laps to do it, so he's got to hurry here.
1.8, let's watch the gap.
It was over 2 seconds after the pit stop, so...
Yeah, fresh tyres.
See what Reece has got here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Eric even took tires there. Maybe he just took fuel.
1.3 seconds between Nelson and Gardner now. I think Gardner's definitely got him here. That's half a second in the second sector.
But yeah, that's a good theory. I quite like that theory, actually, Danny. It could well be he didn't take any tyres at all.
Yeah, because if he took tires, he would have less fuel than Reece and better tires.
And Reece is still hauling him in.
But Reece has been quicker throughout the race than Nelson, of course. Remember that?
True that.
But he is really eating him up. I mean, this I think he's going to get him at this rate.
I'm looking forward to the sprint races. I think Tolborg's weight will really hinder him there in those races.
Oh yeah. I mean, if Francisco comes back, he's going to walk away with both races.
So good bet. Gardner 1 second now behind Nelson, so I think this gap's going to come down. So this is the final battle on track, I think, before the end of the race. Outside the top 8, Matt Hunton 9th, 10th is Dino Paolini, which is, as we were saying, was a great drive considering the troubles he had in the opening lap. Sidonio Manuel 11th, 12th is Paul Wood. That's a good result for him actually. He kept his way out of trouble. Peterson 13th, Domingos Vaz is 14th. That's pretty good for him as well considering he had 2 extra pit stops. 15th is Ethan Bass, 16th Neil Larson, 17th Eric Estes. Jared Keane is just DNF from the race, so I'm not sure what's happened to him. So he'll drop down behind Jim Egan and Michael Carver and John Seidenstricker. Into the pits has come Michael Carver. Any news on that?
Yeah, Michael, I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm trying to check his car for damage or something, and I'm not seeing any.
It's an unusual time to pit, unless he really tried to stretch the fuel as far as he could, but not quite.
This is either some type of penalty or a splash and go.
So, those lights lighting up again, look, on the straight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there with Eric. He's been doing that for the entire race.
Definitely doesn't look like he's flashing his headlights at a race, because he's definitely not letting him through, look. Our race has got much more grip, hasn't it? I think you're right about the tyres.
Yeah, he's going to get him here.
Yeah, if Nelson's got any sense, he'll just let Gardner go through. 7 seconds now, the gap between Barrick and Torborg. Absolutely sewn up. It must be the last lap, right, Danny?
Yep, this is the last lap here. And yeah, Reese is going... Is he going to get through on the inside here?
He's on the inside. He has the traction as well.
Yep, he's got him.
He's got the overlap.
But that was a perfect overtake on the inside almost, Toby.
Absolutely.
You get the inside, you just squeeze ever so slightly across the outside, leave enough room, but you just kind of make the other person know that you're not coming through. This is my corner.
And on the exit, if you've got any overlap at all, and your nose is actually ahead, then just ease the other driver into the wall on the left.
Not into the wall.
No, but sorry.
Yes.
Towards the wall. Towards the wall.
We don't all drive dirty, Toby, like you.
No. That came out not how it was intended.
And I actually think we have
too
one
much
more
BTCC
lap here.
watching.
I think they're going to go around one more time at this, because Keith already went through by the time I checked the clock.
What's the clock on now?
It's nothing. 0.
Oh, that'll be it then, because Barrick is about to...
That's it, yeah, he's not coming to the final corner, so...
Okay.
Right. So he's going to come through to win.
After 36 laps and plenty of troubles, of course, with the server, but he's come good at the end. He had a battle along the way with Torborg, and looked like for a few laps that Torborg might be able to challenge for the win, but Barrick makes up for his Spa troubles, and he takes his first win of the season in the second race here at Sebring, weaves across the line.
Very nice.
Fantastic result for him. Pole, fastest lap, and the win. He'll be very pleased with that indeed. Full points haul for him. He needed that as well. Jesper Torborg will be very happy with his second place, considering he had extra weight, and he had a big lead over his biggest rival in the championship as well, coming into this race. Third place, another strong result from Darius Swiderski for Quad Racing. Another podium result. He'll take second in the championship overall as well. That's great stuff from him. Fourth place should come across the line now. Yuri Braham, a great run from him considering he had dropped to 6th earlier on. Now 5th place as well. That's an excellent result. And great news there for Reese Gardner, who really, he wasn't going to be in the race until his reprieve later on. And he's going to take 5th now. Comes around the final corner, around Sunset Bend. Behind him, going to come in 6th place with a masterstroke of a strategy, Eric Nelson.
Very well done by Eric. Consistent from start to finish.
7th place was Reggie Blaine. It was a long time battler with Matt Hunt and Eric Nelson. Kept us very entertained. 8th is going to be Diogo Lopez, just about staying ahead of Matt Hunt coming to the line. He kept us entertained also as well. But he'll be pleased with a solid result after his disastrous one lap, half a lap really at Spa. Not even that, 2 corners. 10th place coming now to the line should be Dino Paolini, who'll be very pleased with that indeed. He had showed great pace in practice, of course, and then in qualifying, but then he had an awful first lap, got some rear end damage, and he's going to come across the line to round up the top 10. But really, it's all about the superb performance from Keith Barry.
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. It's like a pole to flag victory. He was slightly troubled by Talbot early on, but it never really looked like giving up the lead. And fastest lap, it's a hat trick. Fastest lap pole and a win. Great job from Keith.
Yeah,
absolutely. Keith. Sorry, go on, Danny.
Yeah, just not enough superlatives to describe Keith's performance here tonight. Great from start to finish, and here he is to join us right now.
Who's your driver of the day then, Toby?
Who was my driver of the day? I've got to say Keith Barrick. I think Paolini did a great job coming back from way down on the field to get into the top 10, and I think Reece Gardner as well in his qualifying run, just do one run, get into the top 10, and finish where he did. It's a great job by him as well. But I think Keith Barrick utterly dominant today and deserved his win in the end.
And we are joined, of course, by the race winner, Keith Barrick. Very well done, Keith.
Thank you, man. First off, I just want to say regarding the race, in the back and forth of going to and from getting the server started and figuring out what the problem was, something ended up happening with the weather file, which is why it was kind of anticlimactic with the weather. I'm sure you guys were talking about it the whole way through, and
we did wonder.
You know what? And I'm just glad we actually got the race off. We were good saying that if we had another problem, we were going to just reschedule the race altogether. But I'm just happy that I was able to keep the car together and not pull an Eau Rouge. But actually, what's funny is before the race, I was saying that because of the length of it, I was wondering if I had enough time in the pits to run to the bathroom, and I did. I'm not kidding you. In the second pit stop, it worked out perfect. But I can't believe Jesper was so quick with all that weight on. He's going to have a bit more with another 20 kilos, so he'll be 50 kilos heavy, but I'll be carrying 30 for the next race. The only thing I really say is everything went well, was calm, kept it together, no big mistakes.
Well,
and,
it didn't look too calm after the second pit stop.
No, come on.
When Yes was right there.
I know. Well, you know what I was actually planning when he pitted well early, and what happened was he wanted the fresh tires, try to make up some time, which he did. But when I pitted later, my idea was, I was trying to keep the fuel in because I was expecting wet, and that was why I kept taking my distances as long as I could. I took an extra lap at the first stint, and then I think I took 3 extra laps on the second stint, which is why he caught up so quick. But I was expecting the wet. I was hoping to have the wet for all the people watching, and just make the race very interesting. But we're going to take care of that for the Watkins race. We're going to put a proper tested weather file in and make sure we have no issues. So
let me
good
make
race
it
altogether. You're in. You got it.
But we'll talk to Reece next. Reece, you weren't even going to be in that race, and then you get a reprieve. You just pop it on 6th position on the grid with just 1 hot lap, and then bring the car home 5th. You must be absolutely delighted with that.
Oh yeah. I'm actually really delighted with that because when I disconnected in the first warm-up session, I was pretty dejected. So when I got an MSN message from Keith saying, "Hurry, you got to go back. We're restarting," I just thought, I better take this opportunity while I can. And when I got into the qualifying session, we had, I think, 8 minutes left. And then, I tried my first attempt at a hot lap. That didn't work. And then, as I was going through on my outlap on my second run, I only had, I think, 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. And I just thought to myself, I've got to make this work, because if I don't make this work, then where am I going to be during the race? And my final qualifying time was 0.3 slower than my qualifying time in the first session, but fortunately it did put me 6th, so I'm really, really happy with that. And come the race, I actually didn't really have a strategy worked out. I was ad-libbing pretty much the whole way, but I tried my best to match my pit stops with people around me, and unfortunately I made a bit of an error in my second pit stop by taking fronts. So
that's where the gap came from.
Yeah, I was finding it really, really hard to control the car. Darius pulled away, then Yuri got by, and from then on I was just thinking, play it safe, try and take it easy. But during the latter, I think, 20 minutes of the race, I think I was driving like a demon possessed me, because I was just taking every single corner as hard as I could and trying to get past.
What were you thinking when Eric appeared out of the pits in front of you?
I was thinking I need to get by him. I need to get by him. I was just repeating that in my head over and over and over again. And eventually I got up to him, and I decided to just take it a bit easy because he told me that he was on worn tires, and I just eventually got by him at the final corner on the second last lap, and from then on I just kept it.
Oh, he shouldn't have told you that. That ruins the excitement. Well, very well done to you, dude. That's a fantastic result considering you weren't going to be in the race. Very well done to you. Thank you very much. And we go to another podium result for Darius Swiderski. Fantastic stuff, dude.
Good morning, guys. Yes, I'm dead tired.
Yes, it's good. Good morning. Definitely good morning here. It's just 5 o'clock in the morning. I think the birds are singing here.
Absolutely. Well, my race, my second quali wasn't too good. Half a second slower than my first one, and so I think I was fifth. And yeah, from then on, I just tried to concentrate and try to do the race and hoping for the rain, but never came.
Well, fantastic stuff again. You got another good result at Sebring. Of course, you won here in the ATCC. Were you fancying a win here because of your past history, or were you just happy to get the podium?
Well, I mean, look at Keith and Jasper. You know, they were too quick, and I had typical rain setup. You know, I was really expecting heavy rain. And yeah,
Poor Darius.
never comes. So the car was very stable. I mean, you know, it was rain setup, but it wasn't very quick. So I'm happy. Yeah, third position. I was a bit worried towards the end, seeing Eric and Diogo in front with 6 minutes to go. I was thinking, okay, they're not gonna stop. They're not gonna have another stop. Yes, but they did, thankfully. So I'm happy for that.
Well, that puts you second in the championship now still. So well done to you, and you're keeping your strong results going. And now we move on to Yuri, who came home in 4th position, which is a good result considering you weren't here at Spa, and also you dropped to 6th place at one point.
Well, yeah, thank you. I just joined to be part of it. Normally I drive also the AGTC, and yeah, you already know it, right? It's very late for us. I had nothing to do tomorrow, so I gladly I could join, and I'm amazed with my results, to be honest.
So a wild card.
Yeah, indeed. That's why I'm so amazed with the results.
How did you find the cars? Was it easy to drive, hard to drive, or fun?
It's the first time I drove these cars, and they're more easy than the standard chemical tent. The feeling is much better. You can feel everything in the car. You can get grip when the car is sliding. It's very clear what the car is going to do in the turns, and I loved it, to be honest.
Well, you just need to take that form into the V8s now, Yuri.
Yeah, I know. It's something to make up.
Well, it's compliments really to Michael van Scheppingen for the physics that he's made here as well. So, but well done too, Keith, for winning that race amid the stresses of organising it as well, which is always difficult, especially when there's problems. And importantly, Keith, this is your 7th win in the Touring Pro Series, and it takes you ahead now of VR, your great rival, and Crooks as well, who you're not allowed to mention. And it puts you level with your great friend, Brandon Lawson.
Does it really? Wow.
It does, yeah. Both have 7 wins now.
I'm gonna have to let him know that he's actually still mentioned around here.
And you know, that's your 5th pole position as well, and that puts you level with Yuri. Joint 2nd in the amount of pole positions in the Touring Pro Series.
Well, I was actually thinking about that because I had noticed. I got trying to chase down Jesper because he's just a hard man to catch. You know, even if you bolt some weight to him, you still can't catch him. But,
exactly. You've tried hampering him, and he still can't catch him. So I don't know what you're gonna do next.
You know what? It was a good race all around. I'm just glad we did get it off. You know, apologies again to the racers that it wasn't what was expected, but the race did happen. Thankfully, I mean, we could be looking at another, reschedule and have to race another time. So glad it all went well, and thanks for commentating, guys.
Okay, thanks guys for joining us and for entertaining us throughout the race.
Thank you.
Thanks. You.
So Toby, just sum up that event for us. Toby's not there anymore. Danny, sum up the event for us.
Yeah. Well, we saw some very interesting pitch strategies. It wasn't as diced up as it could have been, should there have been weather like we expected, but it was still very much entertaining. We saw, as Darius was just alluding to there, guys wait until the last possible moment to pit, made for some exciting racing. And just, I wanted to talk about a few drivers here. Reggie Blaine, absolutely a great run from him today. He started back 11th, 12th, and get up to 7th. Very well done to him. Reese, obviously, a miracle run from him, actually, waits to the last second there in the qualifying, finally gets on the track and puts on a very nice lap. Then Paulini, he was very upset after the race, was talking in the in-game chat saying things like he wishes he can get through the first lap without contact, and my heart goes out for the guy it does, but just a hero drive from him today to fall back to 22nd and then come all the way up to 10th. Very well done. And then obviously Keith, Darius, once again, great results from them. And, of course, Jesper, as he maintains his championship lead.
Absolutely, and Keith and other drivers have a long way to go to catch up to Torborg now as a result of these two results, of course. So thank you, Danny, for joining us. And thank you to Toby, even though he's disappeared. I think he might have fallen asleep.
Yep.
I don't blame him, to be fair. Thank you, Danny, and thank you to everyone who's watched. We'll catch you again in 2 weeks' time. Once again, this time we're going to have 2 sprint races, so 2 ATCC-style, exciting, bashing door handles, pedal to the metal kind of races at Rattlesnake Point. That's on the 10th of June, kind of the 11th of June for European viewers, but 10th of June anyway. So be sure to turn up for that, and we'll have more exciting stuff from these Z4s.